Welcome to the Stronger Leader podcast, home of the hashtag Stronger movement, where we explore the fascinating tapestry of human experience. I'm your host, Tony Cardello. Each episode, we'll sit down with a remarkable guest to dive into their unique journeys, from successful business leaders to individuals who have faced the darkest of times and emerged stronger, even from some of the inspiring youth of this emerging generation. We'll also cover essential topics on marriage, leadership, as well as spiritual, physical, and mental health, all in hopes to provide you with the tools and motivation to navigate your own life's challenges. Whether you're here to learn, grow, or simply be inspired, there's something for everyone. So get comfy, settle in, and join us as we embark upon this journey together. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button as well. Turn on the notifications so you'll know whenever we drop new content. All right, let's get started. Watch this.
I'm huge, baby.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
This is like 80s rap.
Welcome to another episode of the Stronger Leader podcast. It's your host, Tony Cardello, and the crowd goes wild.
Yeah.
I'm here with a good friend of mine, a longtime friend. We go way back. We'll get into all that here in a minute. But John Ott.
How you doing, everybody? You trying to get you to what?
This is going to be good. You guys are in for a treat. John is freaking larger than life, both physically and theoretically and facetious, whatever.
I got some problems.
Problems. How you going to solve them? All right, so this is a good podcast for me, man. I'm super excited because, you know, a lot of the things that we represent with the Stronger Leader, I think you emulate. You're a leader, first of all. You know, you're a business owner. You grew up wrestling, you did MMA, you now bodybuild, you know, which are all individual sports, which creates, you know, you have to have intrinsic motivation to do these things. You know, you can't, relying on team sports, which I'm all about team sports, don't get me wrong, but, relying on a team to accomplish a goal, there's just an element about when it's just you versus you, man. And so I understand what that builds in a character, and I've watched you develop as a human. You know, from when I first met you, you know, Neanderthal, hot smash, and and you're into this. You're a full blown businessman now. You're a man of God. You're a man of faith. You operate with that pretense as well. And so, man, just a lot of the things that we represent. And I thought you were a good fit to have on the show. And plus, you're my friend. So I think
thank you. Thank you for having me on, and thank you for the kind words.
It'll be fun. So, let's start off with this. There's going to be a ton of people watching this that know you, and there's going to be a lot more that don't. So, start off with, who you are, where you're from. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing, and, get as deep and intimate as you want, man. Tell us who you are. Who's John Ott?
Well, so I grew up in a town called Blue Springs, Missouri. Yeah. And, I don't know, I guess younger I wasn't like a great athlete, but I definitely love sports. When I got on this team called the Bombers, and they were like one of the best football teams, right? And I had this coach.
How old were you?
That would be, I want to say like middle school, because I was on this other good team called the Gators first, actually, and then I was on this team called the Bombers. And that coach, Walt Tolson, I mean, he was definitely probably like one of the biggest inspiring factors of my life. Like, without him, nothing would be possible right now.
Huh. Interesting.
And what I would say, and what he liked about me is how my work ethic. You know, like he would push me, and he was a hardcore coach. Like, this guy, no, I mean, it was a weird relationship because he loved you to death, but this dude would want to fucking kill you, man. Like, I'm not joking. He would push us so hard at a young age, you know, and, you look around at a lot of those people and they're all, doing well in life. And I think a big part of that probably comes from Walt. I mean, he had never give up written on everything. It was like, you get the playbook, never give up. I mean, it was on everything. And, I remember he was, so that was the point when my parents were going through their divorce. And, there was a bunch of that, and my outlet and what really kept me away from doing a lot of the stupid shit I could have done was being on that football team. Because, I mean, I was not with a good group of friends. So basically, I became best friends with my bullies. The kids that were bullying me in elementary school when I started beating their ass, and then we had a lot of fun, and they were the cool kids. And you look back at those guys, and I hope the
best. Were you a cool kid growing up?
I was a dork. Like, I was like a total dork until third grade, and then fourth grade is when I beat all those dudes up. And literally, I beat the hell out of it. We would. I mean, it was like it's weird.
When did you start wrestling?
First grade. I started wrestling in first grade, but I wasn't really that great at it at all. I didn't have quite the passion for it yet. What made me really fall in love with wrestling is I realized how good I could be at it. It was like I was a good football player, but it was very like, I'm not 6. I'm 5'11", but I'm not, I'm not I'm not going to say I don't have like certain athletic gifts, but like you look at the people in the NFL, like it really takes like a special genetic to be there. I mean, you could get there, but it's just to be great at that. It's just not what I'm made to do. But then wrestling, however, like, man, like, the repetitiveness, drilling this one motion over and over and over and over and over again. That. Yeah, it's weird to say that, but like it's translated into weightlifting. But fast forward, my junior year of high school.
Hold on, before we get too far into that, let's go back to your childhood for a minute. Yeah. So tell about your upbringing. You mentioned your parents got divorced.
Parents got divorced.
How old were you when that happened?
That was like around the 5th grade, I think, is when they actually like totally split, 4th or 5th grade.
So that's tough. What was your relationship like with either of your parents or both, at that time? So, and the reason I ask that is because, my son and I are extremely close. And, I know, especially the state of Missouri, most of the time the kids go with the mom and then the dad's on the weekends and all that stuff. It would crush me to not be with my son, or any of my kids really every day. But, I know the bond that my son and I have. So did that impact you?
So basically what happened was my dad worked for this company called GST, and he had a good job. He made good money, and we had a good like middle class life. We lived in a house, had a pool in the backyard. It was nice. It wasn't like it was very normal, very very like this is like living the American dream, I guess is what you would say. Yeah. And he was part of a union. And they went through 2 strikes, and my mom never had to go back. I mean, she was a teacher, and then when she had me, my little brother and sister, she was a full-time mom, and things were just easy. It wasn't like I had a pretty good we had a pretty good family life at that point, actually. And then when my dad, so we went through 2 different strikes with Armco, then GST, and then the company got bought out and they shipped it overseas. And then he could have actually accepted this other job in North Carolina, but they didn't want to move us because we already had a life built here. And then he tried to start his own business, and he failed at it. I mean, he's just not like a super business minded guy, and he didn't really necessarily have like. The way he tried to do it just isn't practical, I guess. It was a heating and air conditioning business.
That what his trade was? He a journeyman? Was that his?
He was a steel worker. Yeah, he was a steel worker. He was a safety, so he did safety for most of his time. He was like the director or the boss. Like he wasn't like he was pretty high up in the company. He spent a long time with it. But the guy can fix anything. Like it's he's super handy. It's insane. Like and what's funny is like I'm actually all right at that stuff when I apply it, but it's the last thing I want to do. Like I'd prefer to focus on like all the things I love, and I don't really love fixing. I mean, I've remodeled a house before, but I don't want to do that. Like if I ever buy another house, like I don't want to mow the lawn or do the gutters, or I just have no interest in that. Not that I'm like hating on people that do. Yeah, it's like it's a lot of work, and when you're trying to do all this other stuff, like time is so valuable. It's like it's the most valuable thing, and if you're really applying yourself to one thing and then still trying to have like good relationships in the middle of it, it's a pretty hard thing to do. And I think that probably was one of the reasons my dad, his business wasn't successful, because trying to keep the family together, and he's trying to like start this business, and he was getting jobs, and you got these 30, 90-day waits, and that was really his big struggles. He just didn't have enough
cash flow,
capital to begin with. He would have had more capital to begin with, he probably would have been fine, to be quite honest with you, but he didn't want to take out like a big business loan, so he started taking out like these smaller ones, and it was a big mess.
So I'm assuming this crazy, insane work ethic that you have, and because I've seen you, I know. Is that derived from watching your dad all these years work, or where do you think that came from?
Walt,
really?
Well, yeah. So I remember like the guy would literally like there was one night like so we had this. It was Bomber Hill. Like where'd
you practice at? Do you remember?
It was the park by the Centennial Pool, Pink Hill. No, it was what park was that? Blue Springs Park? I don't know.
Right by the high school.
No, it was so there was a Centennial. No, that's Centennial Pool. It was closer, like heading out towards
Fort Osage, that direction.
No, it's like the outer road, like as you're driving through Blue Springs. I can't think. Yeah, I can't think of the name of the park. But we used to pay a B on the hill, and he would run us so hard on that hill. And I remember it was raining one night, and I don't know what. Like I don't know if it was penalty or something he was pissed about, trying to prove a point, and he ran us. And I remember like there was three of us like left still running at the end, and I was the last man running. And we had a conversation about that. He's like, I want you to understand that you have a gift. Like most people can't push themselves as hard as you, and for some reason you like it. If you take that and you apply it to your life, like no matter what you do, you're going to be successful. You just don't give up.
And now let me ask you something. Was this a one-time seed that he planted, speaking that life into you, or is this something that he repeatedly...
It was repetitive.
Yeah, so he spoke that into you.
Who are we? Bombers. Who? Bombers. When do we give up? Never. When? Never.
Yeah, that's great. I love that.
Which I think the world could use a lot more of now, man. Like, honestly, like people, like the main reason people fail is because they give up. I mean, you do anything and you're trying to do it great, you're going to run into these different things that you don't expect. And, it's always easy to give up.
It's funny having you on here right after I had Kraus on here, and it was like almost exactly the same thing he said. Just that he just keeps showing up. He's just there, relentless, right?
That's what you see with Kraus. I mean, he was a good fighter. That's what he got. I mean, you talk about drilling and stuff. Like he was definitely a way more technical fighter than me. He got super technical, and it was funny because I always looked at him as like the pretty boy.
But you never did.
I'll tell you, man, where I got the most respect for you, I used to hate sparring with you because you sparred too hard, but for me anyway.
I sparred. When I was younger, I didn't understand the concept of sparring. I mean, my coaches used to tell me I have two speeds, go and stop.
Yeah, it's true. But I didn't care. Maybe better, but still. But I remember when you fought Bobby Lashley, it's the first time that I've ever seen. I think you broke his spirit.
He was broke. I didn't win the fight, and it was like one of the hardest things for me to get over. He
literally. That was you took a freaking beating and just kept coming and coming and coming and coming, and his spirit was broke. Like he's like, man, I have nothing left.
Well, that was kind of the plan going in the fight. Like, so that wasn't. I was supposed to fight. Oh God, how can I forget? Leo Inartapasanya, or
yes,
I think that's who it was, and I'm pretty sure that is who actually runs. Who's the guy over Rudy Bear's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is crazy about it.
Oh, it is now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the person that's like the top black belt or whatever, and. That fight, so we'll cut back. So basically, before that fight, so I had tried out the Ultimate Fighter, didn't make it on the show, and my advice was, you need to make 185 pounds. You win a few fights, we'll put you in UFC. Right? So I made 185 pounds and almost fucking killed me. Like literally, I remember
you're on at 220, didn't you?
Yeah. My little brother, I go, Jake, you need to come with me. I'm not okay right now. I go, if I fall over or something, just get me up. Like, you know, I'm like, and so what's funny is I had like this game plan for after weigh-ins on how I was going to like rehydrate and carb up. And that's the only time in my life I've ever like experienced like a high blood sugar seizure. Because it's funny, I'm in the car and I'm drinking these, it was a carbohydrate drink and I drank like 2 of them. And dude, okay, first of all, when you are that dehydrated, like that first drink of water, you have to be really careful.
Yeah, sure.
It hurts. Yeah. Like if you try to
all shrunk up.
If you try to chug water, it will cause this pain.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful. Like you start off you take a sip of water, right? You take a sip. So then you drink a bottle of water, and then what the plan was to drink like half a bottle of carbs and drink another half bottle of water, but I drank that first bottle of water, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I need all these carbs. I drank the whole fucking thing of carbs. And then I drank another bottle of water, and I drank another whole thing of carbs. And I'm like, I have like tremors. So I'm sitting here like this. Like, and my little brother's like, are you okay? I'm like, I think I've had too much carbohydrates. I go, I just give me a second. Don't take me to the hospital. I'm like, I go, just.
You gotta fight. Don't take me in. Was this for the Lashley fight?
No, that was for. Let me think about this. So that was before Bellator. That was my first fight at 185 pounds. That was actually that was one of the fights at where they're having them now in Kansas City, where Joe Wooster's put them on. Cameron. Yeah, but it was. They weren't quite as big then. I don't remember what even promotion that was. I can't remember. Either, yeah. So I won that fight. I smoked the guy. And then I made 185 pounds and fought Brian Imes on Bellator. Won that. That was huge. Like, that was huge. Great. And so, literally, this was basically my fight that could get me into the UFC.
Brian Imes, didn't he make it onto the Ultimate Fighter or whatever?
Brad Imes. His brother did. His brother did, yeah. Right, yeah. So I'm supposed to fight this Leonardo Pisani. My weight's actually in a pretty good spot, and then he gets hurt. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, this is like. So then, what ends up happening is Lashley guys gets hurt too, and this is like, I don't know, a week or 2 out maybe, and Joe Kelly calls me and he's like, hey man, like, you know, I know you're gonna fight at 185, but I know you normally walk around a lot heavier than that. I think this might actually be a pretty interesting fight. You know, Lashley's a really, really strong guy, but so are you. He doesn't have the gas tank you have. I mean, this might be something that you consider. And it was pretty good money too, right? It was a pretty good paycheck for me. I don't remember what it was, but it was big money. Like back then, I was like, yeah, you know, I was like, sure. So, I mean, I was automatically like a yes in my mind, but part of the problem was like, you know, Dana White literally told me, just stay at 185 when the fight's 85, like, you know, Right. So I ended up taking that fight, and when I lost that fight, like, I don't know what it was. Like, you know, one thing that I've definitely improved on from then until today is like my level of emotional intelligence and how I deal with it. I think that's really important because when you're a highly competitive person, if you have no control over your emotions, that's when you start doing dumb things.
Depression, and drugs, and whatever.
It wasn't necessarily drugs. I just felt like I was like a failure. I don't know. It was just like because the thing is, like, I knew going into the fight, like, the odds were insane. There were a bunch of people that made a bunch of money off that fight. And the odds were crazy. And I knew that once he got into that third round, it would be my round. That was like...
Did you end up winning the third round?
I think I did. I think the Yale gave me the third round. But what had happened was, man, like, I'm still good to go. I hit him with a couple shots. Crowd goes crazy. John Ott smash. All I got to stop a takedown, hit with a few more shots. And he shoots in and gets this. I mean, he was done. All I had to do was just keep it on my feet. Like, that would have been bigger than, that would have been like the biggest thing. And I just see this moment in front of me, right? I'm like, dude, I'm right here. I got this guy. He's broke. I mean, when you've done this before and you've seen it happen, this is like, I've had this happen with like some of the best wrestlers in the nation where I was able to actually break them and win. And it's just, to me, back then that was like the greatest win for me. You know what I'm saying? When you could actually, you're going against like another top level guy and you physically break him.
You break their spirit.
You push the fight so hard.
Yeah.
It's a combination of pushing them so hard that they've never gone at that pace before. And it's also I can't do anything with this guy. Like, I don't know what to do. I haven't been in this, because you do. So for example, when I was at probably the biggest wrestling win. I wrestled this guy named Justin Day. It was the junior duels. I'm pretty sure he was the number 1 ranked guy in the nation. And it was funny because everybody stopped to watch this wrestling match. Like, there was people just all around it. And I was like, it made me feel cool. You know, it made me feel happy to just be in that situation, just thankful. And I'm pushing. I'm like, I'm going to push this real hard. I'm like, I'm going to really just freaking wear it. And I was just moving so fast, and I get him down, and I pop him up. Like, I'm like, oh, and I pop up again. I pop him up, and I suplex him. Boom! And that's like my first, that's not like my normal cup of tea, man. But what really set it up was the pace I was going at, man. Like, that's like one of the things, like, when I would wrestle like an average guy or whatever, like, my goal was to tech fall him. Like, I didn't want to pin him. I wanted to tech fall him. I wanted to take him down, let him up, take him down, let him up. And honestly, like, if that was earlier on in a tournament, that's kind of a dumb idea because you're just blowing away a bunch of gas. You don't need to. But that's what I'd do all day. Yeah. You know, like, literally, like, I'd go to these wrestling matches, and that's why people like watching me wrestle. The thing is, like, there's a couple guys, like, I lost my state championship match. That was, when that happened.
What year was that? Was that your senior year?
I lost 2 matches all year.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and what the thing is, like, the guy actually, like, if you go through and you read the newspaper, when I read that newspaper article, it just made me, like, I was like crying. I was like bawling because I knew he didn't think he was going to beat me. Right. Like, going into the match, he didn't think he was going to beat me. I'd beat this guy named Camden Rampley. He was a former state champion. That was the guy that he was undefeated, and this other dude was undefeated. Camden Rampley was his name. And man, I really just when I
was that your senior year?
My senior year, yeah, I was like 54-2.
Oh my gosh! What was your how'd you do in high school? What was your total, not record, but state placing?
My second was my best.
Did you place?
Well, so here's the thing. So my first 2 years, there's this guy named James Williamson that was in like my weight class. Like, so the way it worked out was Blue Springs South was stacked. Okay, like going into that, they won a bunch of.
Graduate?
2006. Okay, I graduated from Blue Springs though. I'm gonna get into that in a second. So basically, I can't think of the coach that was there was a phenomenal coach, and then they brought in, I don't even want to say his name because I like the guy, honestly. I don't want to say anything bad, but like some of the tactics he used, it's Blue Springs South. So what he would do is he would, like, if someone got pinned, he'd make them wear a pink shirt in practice that said, "I got pinned." You know, and I always, like, for some reason, like, even if me not wearing the shirts, watching my teammates run around in those, I'm like, dude, you guys are being fucking pussies. Like, I would not put that shirt on. Like, I just would never. And so I actually got caught in the head and arm one day, and I got pinned. Oh. And the way it worked out was my dad lived on the north side. My mom lived on the south side. So, and I had tried to transfer that year, but they wouldn't let me. They just wouldn't. I'm like, well, they just wouldn't let me transfer. It was complete. I'm like, dude, I'm a freaking high school athlete. Like, just let me not try. Like, I don't want to be here. Like, I don't, because me and Black just didn't get along. No, whatever. We just didn't get along. But he wasn't a bad guy. Like, I think, like, his intentions were good, and I feel bad because, like, you know, like, now I feel like I could have, like, a great conversation with him. But then I just didn't like him. I just could not stand him. Yeah, like, and so what had happened was one day at practice, I got the head and arm, and I got caught, and I got pinned. That was my junior year. Never in a million years would I ever thought I would ever got pinned. And he tries to make me put on this pink shirt, and I ripped it up and I threw it at him and told him to fuck off, and I ran home. And so the next day. So the next day I get called into the principal's office, and the athletic director was there, and I told him, I go, look, this is like, not, I mean, who wants to run around saying I failed? Like, to me, like, I understand, like, he's trying to toughen people up, but that's just, like, I don't know. I think that everybody has, like, certain, like, a code of ethics, I guess, or I don't even know what you would call it, like, just, like, certain principles that are just, like, you know, like, when, like, if I see something and to me, it's just, like, this is not right.
Yeah.
You know, like, this is not the right way to do things. Like, I just have a really hard time.
Yeah, your moral compass is navigated a different way.
And if I was to put on that shirt, I would feel like just ashamed of myself.
It would take you lower, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I
think wrestling in itself is enough. People that wrestle, especially at high level, and you're passionate about it, the loss itself is enough.
Yeah. Well, you know,
I mean, we internalize that pretty roughly.
It's a lot, but like now, like, looking back at how, like, I manage myself in my wrestling and fighting career, you know, the problem is if you're taking a loss so hard like that, it's not doing anything for you. It's actually hurting you.
Lesson.
Yeah, you got to, okay, what did I do wrong? What do I need to fix? How do I beat, you know what I mean? Instead, I'm just like, I was a poor loser, but I didn't lose that much. So, you know what I mean? Like, I just was like, I you know, I didn't realize at that point I was. So...
all right, so let's back up. We're jumping all over.
Sorry.
No, that's a good. Conversation's awesome. So, parents got divorced.
Yeah.
Where'd you go live? Mom or dad?
So my mom wouldn't let me leave. And then so basically I was hanging out with these three kids that were just there. I mean, one of them's like in a life sentence in prison, others alcoholic, another one has like 12 kids. Yeah. And they weren't good. So finally, like, I like lashed out and my mom like kicked me out of the house.
She's like, live with your dad.
Well, the problem was my dad had moved down. He got this house in Wabla, Missouri, which is like middle of nowhere country. And so basically what I ended up doing was I stayed with my friend Clint for a few months maybe. And my dad actually moved back and he ended up actually getting a pretty good job that he retired from. This is 6th or 7th grade. Okay. Yeah. And he moved back and I started living with him, and that was really good because the thing is, like, I mean, dude, I'm just not. Then I was younger, and I needed a dad. You know what I mean? Like I think every kid does, but especially with like the amount of energy I had, and like it just, you know, I'm not saying like.
Knowing who you are now, it's you got that alpha quality to you. So,
but then I had no control of it.
Yeah, right,
you know what I'm saying? If someone was like to give me a middle finger and like say something, I'd want to go beat them up.
Uh-huh.
And until I actually got a ticket in the mail for assault, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't, that's what kind of changed that. I'm like, wait a second, this isn't. I'm paying now to fight. Like this is not like that was a whole. The guy was going into a bar. Going into bars, the first problem, right?
Right.
And this was I was in a bad space. I want to say this was like after. This is either after. This is right before I accepted the job with GNC, the promotion. And so I was walking to the bar, and this guy's like yelling stuff. He's in this car. He's a big guy, right? He's yelling stuff. I go, if you're gonna do something about it, probably get him out here and we'll handle business. So he pulls his car up on the curb, he gets out, and he pushes me, right? And I just nail him with the right, and just drop this guy and start hitting with elbows. And I get up, and I go to walk in. They told me to leave, right? So I left, and then I get a ticket in the mail for assault. And so I go to the courthouse. I mean, we ended up working it out, but I had to pay a lot of money. And I'm like, this is not worth it.
Yeah, right.
Like what? And then I like really like throughout my career with GNC, I had a really good mentor named Mario Adams, and it's funny because like he was really all about like these development plans, and he spent a lot of time with me, and it was funny because he would tell me I was emotional, and I'm like, I'm not freaking I'm not what are you talking about, emotional? And it took me forever, but like I'm not trying to jump too far ahead, but like. If you go through something hard like a divorce and you're either going to eventually figure this thing out or it's going to be the end of any success, or it's going to be it's going to be something keeping you from getting to your top level of success.
So let's back up, because this is something that my psychologist, he's actually going to be on here next week, and we're going to talk about this too. But I want to hear from you, a guy that's been in it. So how is it that? So did you ever get mixed up into drugs and like really doing like bad shit as a kid?
Not really crazy. Like I'm
not talking about like experimenting.
I would
into drugs.
I never got like, so I would smoke weed, but I was never addicted to it. Like, I don't drink at all. I haven't drank at all. I've had one drink since 2011. It's not because I was an alcoholic. It's when I made this choice to pursue bodybuilding and start, a business. I said, this is something, I think about it through my mixed martial arts. So I didn't drink at all my senior year until after I lost my state championship match. And then when I started in college, I was also fighting. And then I had won 11 fights in a row. And that whole time, like, I was very disciplined. I wasn't going out. But, like, then for whatever reason, I think what it was we did that fight. It was around I don't know. I got a sponsorship from a bar, basically, and they pay me money to go there. And they give us a free bottle. And it was like, I was like, this is cool. And so I would basically, like, be on a meal plan and not drink throughout the week, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday I get completely hammered. And then with that, so we want to talk about drugs. Like, I guess my drug, I got addicted to Adderall for a while. It's back then, because it was like, okay, so I'd go out Friday night, get hammered. We have open mat in the morning. I'd fucking take an Adderall. I'd go to open mat. I'd but the problem is you get caught in this cycle to where you're like, dude, if you drink, it just takes such a toll on your body. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like it's sad, because like it's that, and it's just hard on you. It's like if you're actually like, so when I was after I'd graduated and dropped out of college, I was working part-time for GNC. So I'd wake up in the morning, I'd lift weights, I'd go to work at GNC, I'd go to 2 practices, and then I'd come back to my apartment. I'd hang out with my girlfriend, and I'd go outside and I'd run when I was cut to 85. And this was like every single day. So I would do this and then I'd get to that weekend, that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I would drink all weekend, and I'd go back around the circuit. And if I just cut that one thing out, that would do so much for you, right. And so, like, I guess that's like one of my advices for athletes, like, it's just not worth it. I mean, I'm not like a huge advocate of anything. Like I don't want to tell people like to smoke weed, but I would say, if you were to choose between the two options, depending on how your body handles it, like if it makes you a completely lazy person, don't do it. If you're somebody that can still be cognitively functionable and like get shit done, it might not be a bad thing, but I wouldn't get addicted to it. Because the problem is when, like with anything, is when you get addicted to it and you're abusing it, that's the problem. It's like, you talk about steroids, like, yeah, if you're doing TRT or whatever, but the problem is people always got to take shit too far.
Just a little bit more.
Well, but that Friday and Saturday getting hammered was something that definitely affected my career, and me just, because people start to know your name and you feel cool and you want to be part of the social circle. But then if you really look at like Kobe Bryant, for example, like, I mean, a lot of this team didn't really like him back in the day. And he was very focused on, throughout his career on him winning the title, figuring out how to get the team to do it, and then his family. And he would talk like this guy. I don't know if you ever read like Relentless by Tim Grover, Mamba Mentality. So he would. And what's funny is I am a fan of basketball now, but growing up, it's never a sport I played. But I've studied a lot of these basketball players.
So we're just like anti-basketball.
Yeah, but Tim Grover specifically, I'd say like the book Relentless.
Oh yeah, that's great.
So in 2010, I went on this soul searching mission. Because I just got this promotion at GNC and they're paying me more money, and me and my ex-wife, we just didn't really get along that well. The marriage wasn't working. We'd been to counseling. It wasn't that she was a bad person. There's probably a lot of things I could have done better too. And I just knew she got laid off from her job, and she was just at home all day with one online coaching client. And then I'd get home and she'd want me to drink with her, and she didn't want me to go to the gym, but she wanted me to be in this kind of shit. It was a very there was a lot of issues, but you go back, you start, it's just to me, it's like, either just preferably do it sober, or just like
So
you can still.
where I was going, what do you think? Because a lot of kids either, in those situations. Now, what I'm referring to is a little bit different. You didn't grow up in a toxic environment, but
It got toxic in the end.
It did.
It got very toxic.
well,
Yeah.
I'm referring more like you didn't have a parent that was a complete drug addict.
No,
nothing
not at
like
all.
that. So, but nonetheless, as a kid, you can either decide to be a victim.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
And like my parents got divorced, I got nothing, I didn't grow up with my dad and blah, blah, blah. And then you could just decide, you could use that as a crutch to just be a shithead. Or you can say, hey, I'm going to still be somebody. I'm still going to make something. What was it? What was it that made you decide that, I'm not going to be a victim?
I think that regardless of where, okay, look, so.
Do you remember at a young age of like really just taking control of your own
Well,
life?
I wanted to win.
Yeah.
And in order to win and be successful, like, I don't know, man, a lot of these coaches invested in me and they spent a lot of time in me. And, I was always a leader on the team and I was always someone that was supposed to go do something.
So
You know what I'm saying?
Mentorship.
Yeah. I appreciate, there's just like right now, like it's just like us going to these gyms and these gyms letting us in their homes. We got different deals. There's a lot of people that just let us go into their gym and set up for free, and they don't have to do that.
Right.
And that's what's literally like. If we haven't done that, like we probably wouldn't be around. You know what I'm saying? And like it's really grown our brand. And if I get some kids sending me a Snapchat of them, in the weight room with the smelling salt in high school, like hitting PRs before a football game, or, it's like I can't really stand Snapchat, but dude, I got like thousands of messages on Snapchat, and most of them I don't read, but every once in a while I try to go through and, look, and a lot of it's just weird stuff too. It's trying to cycle through it, but like, it makes me feel just good that like, so when I decided to, I never just wanted to have just like, I always just wanted to be somebody, man. Mm-hmm. Not that like I look down I get it, like a good 9-to-5 job, a family life, like it's a good life, but like, me growing up, I wanted to be the best. I wanted to be the person on the team pushing people to be better. And I wanted to push myself to reach my full potential. And then, it was really the same thing with GNC. That's why I grew so fast and moved up in the company, because I pushed myself and I outworked everybody. Mm-hmm. And I became a lot more strategic and learned how to make smarter choices, learned how to control my emotions, which emotional intelligence is probably like, I would not be able to do anything I'm doing right now.
I would say I'm going through it with an employer right now. But I would say emotional intelligence as an adult can be the number one destroyer of a career path.
Career, relationship.
Yeah.
It could put you in jail. Yeah. It's just like, and people like, well, so here's the deal.
I don't care how well you perform at the job. I don't care about anything. If you emotionally suck, you're not going to last, because you're a cancer to the culture, yourself, people. And me, the way I operate my business is it's culture and those types of human relationship stuff first, and then you got to be decent at your job. If they're in reverse order, it don't work for me. If you're really, really good at your job, but you're a sucky human, then don't work for me.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I came on here and did your podcast, because I know that like when I look at certain people as just good people, like real genuine good people, like like we all got to have resources and money, but when I look at what you're doing, you're trying to do something good, and you don't have to do that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And like, when I become better friends with people, usually the reason I'm becoming good friends with them is because, hopefully they do not have an ulterior motive. Sometimes they do. And that's like, it just makes me sad when people get so like, we set up at all these bodybuilding shows and stuff. And, my whole thought on competition has really changed a lot, from when I was younger to now. And, I've just come to the point where, if you're another supplement company and you're set up across from me, or another clothing company, I want you to do well. Yeah. I really want you to do good.
Scarcity mindset.
Yeah, it's like we can all do good.
There's 9 billion people in this world.
Well, think about this. You're at this expo, and every single person is just like, every company just bringing good energy, and They're just supporting each other. And then I'm getting into some good groups right now, that's what, it's not about me beating you, right? Like, dude, we can both make money. At the end of the day, the customer's going to buy their product based upon their experience and the brand story and the quality of the product. You know what I'm saying? That's why the customer buys the product, is because they had a great experience and they're making a good product. Yep. You know what I mean? And if you take the experience part out of it, I don't care how damn good the product is, it just ruins it.
100%.
In
fact, I think the experience piece of it would carry an okay product way further.
Yeah.
Because if you had an exceptional product with a shitty backstory experience, the owners, on the tabloids for doing credulous shit, and all that, nobody's going to support that brand. But if you have something that's like, okay, but I love this dude. I love what he represents. The owner's awesome. This, that. Man, I do business at places that maybe the food isn't the best, or whatever, but the human that owns it and operates it's next world, salt of the earth. I'll support that all day long.
Doing what we do, like one of the most difficult challenges is like, you're going to different gyms in the same city. You're going to different bodybuilding shows. There's a lot of great gym owners and there's a lot of great promoters, but there's certain ones it's like it's hard because you really want to be in this area and you really want to bring good into it, and sometimes you can actually make a significant change. But I hate when these other gyms, let me give you an example. So Silas, he owns House of Pain and he owns Rage, right? Me and him have had some good conversations, and one of the things I really appreciate him is he just wants everybody to do good. If there's another gym down the street, yeah, sure, they're both fighting for the same customer, but why hate each other?
Yeah, right.
Why? It just makes no sense. It's we all do good if we're just all on the same page, and you see it in our government and you see it in the world, and it's the way to fix things is just to get along. Sure, people are going to have their differences, but you don't got to beat them up over it unless it's doing something really bad. You know what I'm saying? But if it's something that's not really okay, so you're gay, I'm straight. Okay, I don't hate you because you're gay. I'm not gay, but I'm not going to hate you because of it. I'm probably not going to hang out with you all the time, but that's
just a scenario, by the way. There's no
that's just a basic one I could think of, you know what I mean? Or you make pre-workout, I make pre-workout. Dude, I'm not going to bash your product. Honestly, I want you to do good. I'm not going to give you every one of my secrets.
Listen, you know what they say, rising tides raise all ships.
Exactly, man. And that's, I guess, that's what Yep and Hardware want to do, and as we continue, every year it's going to get better. Every year we're going to launch more products. And eventually I want to turn it into its whole thing. We've been going back and forth. Eventually it's really cool what we're doing because we're going to some of the best gyms in the world, man. And we're meeting some of the most awesome people. And dude, I was this gym called Exile, right? And I knew it was going to be a good gym. And how I got there is probably the most crazy part. So John Rolla, who owns Ground Control Jiu-Jitsu, and he also owns Shogun Fights. He throws some of the best fights ever, man. You want to see a good fight, go up there to Maryland, check out Shogun Fights. He stacks that thing out. He sells it out. Great matches. It's a good promotion.
Yeah, that's been around a while.
Yeah, so he'd offered me this fight. I turned it down twice, and then the next morning I wake up and I see him on Joe Rogan. So I shoot him a text message. I'm like, hey, I'll take the second deal, but this is the deal. You have to write in the contract. I don't care. He doesn't have to use it, but you have to bring him a box of smelling salts. Next time you see him, I don't care when it is, just bring a box of smelling salts, and I'll take the fight. And I didn't really want to take the fight at all, but man, I saw this as my one opportunity, and dude, it's worth. Just think about it, just to have that, it's just a cool thing, right? Sure. So here I am in the middle of prep, and I'm still actually in pretty good shape. It was a heavyweight fight, so it wasn't didn't have to cut. So, I went and did the fight. I didn't win. Didn't really want to end my career that way. But what that ended up doing was I met John, and John got us in with Exile. That gym is not an easy gym to do what we just did. And now we completely changed. The Brick is the one that runs the supplements. Bob is the one that started the gym.
Where's this at? Where's Exile at?
It's in Rosedale, Maryland.
Maryland, okay.
So just right outside of Baltimore.
Okay, Baltimore.
It's one of the best gyms I've been at in my life. So much just to kind of put it in the history. I'm gonna post it eventually. I just I almost didn't want to post it because I didn't want people to use the machine. But I got the opportunity to do calf raises on the calf raise machine from Pumping Iron.
Oh, there you go. I mean, that's, yeah.
I'd go to the gym, dude. Well, me growing up, so your last question. My whole life, I've loved bodybuilding, but I got invested in wrestling. I got really stuck in wrestling. I love fighting too, and I got in fighting. But the whole time, all I really wanted to do was bodybuild. But I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay, like what?
You did some powerlifting, I remember.
I did some powerlifting too. I'm pretty gifted at deadlift. Mm-hmm. I haven't done deadlift in months. I could pick up 700 pounds right now. I'm not joking. I'm being 100% serious. I'm probably more than that. I don't even know what I could deadlift right now. I'm pretty strong. Like right now we're really pushing it hard on traveling. My body is really doing well.
That's great.
Oh man, yeah, especially this is the best I have felt physically. My knees are fine. I have a little mobility loss in my left shoulder, but I mean,
you have a coach?
I coach myself.
You do it all?
I coach myself. I think it's a good idea to have a coach. So in 2020, I decided to coach myself for my first show. And it wasn't because I was online coaching. I had a pretty big business. And I'm like, man, if I'm coaching these other people, I got to be able to coach myself. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that I think that it's good to have a coach, even if you are a coach, for the structure.
I think the biggest piece of having a coach, being an athlete, even if you are a coach, is that person that can push you. But you're different, dude. You're wired different.
I still write out my plan. I still have my regiment. I mean,
you don't need anybody to push you.
I don't need anybody to push me. I mean, usually, the hardest thing with me is if you're one of my friends or you work for me, and I try to be cognitive of it. I can't always necessarily expect the same thing out of other people that I expect out of me.
My wife
Chase
tells me this all the time.
So, for example, Chase, dude, he grew up a wrestler. He's a hard worker. He's from Iowa, so a little slower community. You know what I'm saying? But he works freaking hard. But it's funny because sometimes we'll do these shows, and I've just figured out,
who's Chase? Chase, that big dude.
So Chase started hardware. So what had happened was he was working for me part-time, helping me produce products, and he'd already started this clothing brand with 3 other guys. And man, the first time I saw them show up, it was like, dude,
he's 5'9" by 5'9". His shoulders are massive.
He's a big boy. Well, Jay Cutler asked him if he's wearing shoulder pads.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, that's the best compliment you could ever have, brother.
Yeah, I remember that about you. He's square.
So he's the co-owner of Hardware, and I've always wanted to do clothing, and I wanted to do clothing, but man, there's just only so much time.
Yeah.
And, it's hard to find somebody that has a similar vision to yours. We have some differences, but for the most part, his creativity, he's definitely gifted in that area, and people like what he's making. Mm-hmm. And we always try to use the best quality clothes too. It's a little more expensive that way. And but we people love the clothing. People love it. People love but people love the clothing. I mean, both businesses are doing really, really well. What I've really done for him is really try to ingrain the business part of it. And I mean, he's always traveling with me. So that's been something that's really helped, especially on these long trips. We literally drove I drove. So last week, I forgot what day I left, but I drove to Cedar Rapids. I got to Cedar Rapids at 5:00 in the morning. I stayed there till 7:30, 8:00. I left there. I went to St. Louis. I didn't sleep. I went to St. Louis.
Oh my
gosh. We set up at House of Pain. They just got in 60 new pieces of equipment. I wanted to go out there to support them. I love that. There's a lot of great gyms in St. Louis, man. House of Pain, Coalition. There's a lot of great gyms. So I was out there. We set up, got in a good workout. Then I actually stayed at Chase's girlfriend's house. It was about, I passed out. just out cold. Then he actually woke me up in the morning, which was like the first ever. I'm like, he's not a morning guy. He's like, I was just out on his couch, right? He wakes me up. He's like, we got to go. And I'm like, oh shit. So we went straight from St. Louis to Alexandria, Virginia. And that was for the Ben Weeder. And what's crazy is I called it, like, dude, right now natural bodybuilding is flourishing.
Really? That's good.
And if I was a natural, so these shows, first of all, Gary Udit always puts on a great show. I always know if I go to one of his shows, it's very unlikely if he's connected to it, there's not going to be good. There's a lot of Jack's shows are great. I love you, Jack. If you hear this, I love your shows. I love you. You're an amazing human being. I want to be at all your shows that I can be at. But Gary does really well too. And he's been around the sport for a long time. And, like some of the amount of money we spend on sponsorships per month is pretty crazy. It's like, $1,000 for this, $2,500 for this, $1,000 for this, $500 for this. Then you include travel time, gas,
right.
Chase. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. It adds up, And so we have to do good at these shows. So if I'm going to drive to Alexandria, Virginia, and I don't really necessarily, but I was right. My gut was right, man. We got there. They had over 500 athletes, I think it was over 380 women on the first day.
Wow.
So think about this. We drive, and this is. Sometimes I give Chase a hard time, but I got to give him credit where credit's due. We literally drove from St. Louis to Maryland. We went to bed. We woke up. We set up. We freaking crushed it all day. He went back to the hotel, slept. I got in a quick workout. Then I passed out. We woke up the next morning. We did the same thing over again. Little less athletes, still good, Then Sunday, man. We were out. I still went and worked out. He was just like, because the thing is, like, man, like, I love it. And I really like it. I mean, of course, I like selling and sampling and all that, but like, I like the conversations I have there. Yeah. I just like being at the shows. I like watching them when I can. I like being able to give people, because there's a lot of people that can just need help or need advice or need encouragement. Some of the great conversations I have, like, it's really cool when you see somebody that's not happy and you have a conversation with them. They have a big smile on their face, I really like it. I mean, it's a hard lifestyle, but I mean, every time at the end of the day, I'm just like, man, that was freaking awesome. Yeah. So then Exile, it's funny. So we go to Exile, and I was like, hey man, I think it's a better idea for us to stay here instead of Pittsburgh. If you want to do Pittsburgh, we can, but I'm telling
Chase
you,
this?
Yeah. I'm like, I'll do it, because I know that's what you want to do. But I really think in my gut, we should probably stay here. Right. And so he's like, I'll drive to Pittsburgh. And I'm like, okay. He woke up the next day. He's like, we should have stayed in Maryland. Because then we had to drive from Pittsburgh. I mean, it was only 4 hours, but that 4 hours was hard. Because I was, when we're driving, usually like when he's driving, sometimes I got to sleep, but I'm trying to just get as much,
work and whatever. Yeah.
Work, social media. I mean, I do all of the retail stuff. Mm-hmm. So basically there's 3 key parts of our team. There's me, there's Chase, and there's Pacheco. Antonio Pacheco, man, like, I couldn't do anything. I wish I could tell that guy. I haven't been spending as much time with him lately just because we've been on the road so much, but without him, we couldn't do what we're doing. And everyone, he does like 90, I've been giving him more responsibilities. Yeah. Right. And he loves to, he likes to push himself too, man. Like sometimes, like, man, like if you need to,
does he stay back at the warehouse and hold it down?
He's there every day. Yeah.
So
Sundays, usually he's not there on Sundays, but he's typically there every day, and he's making product, he's shipping it out. So like if we get an order on the website, I print off the label, I shoot it to him. We have a whole tracking sheet. I've had to create this tracking sheet because it's very important. I mean, shipments go out same day. Yeah. Because like we actually got 2 negative comments because we freaking dropped this stuff off. So like one thing I learned this week is like, okay, even if he does drop it off, I still need to follow up. We had like, I think it was only 2 items, but like they got dropped off at this shipping center. I don't think I'm going to drop things off anymore. They're like, you can go to UPS, you can go to FedEx. We ship it. We usually, most of our stuff goes out UPS. Sometimes it goes out US mail. I don't really like to use FedEx, but some parts of the country, it's just a better option. Because, so like all the smelling salts pretty much go out US mail unless UPS is pretty close to it. And then all the other products go out UPS for the most part. But we have like this place that I like to go, but like you drop it off and then so somehow we lost some packages. And so now I'm like, shit, I got to follow up on this tracking too to make sure it goes out. Because, dude, I was so upset. I got these 2 bad reviews, and I'm like, no. And so then I'm like, so now we're continuing to build systems like inventory. Like I still order everything. Eventually, I'm probably going to have Pacheco start doing that. But you know, me giving him the inventory, like, hey, you got to keep track. It's not really hard to do, but. You know, he's doing a lot of stuff. Yeah. You know, he's doing a lot of stuff, and I got to stop and think about that. And he wants to do it.
Are you still doing your packaging and stuff?
I still do all the designing. I got the amino pretty much ready to go. I want to pull the trigger on it. I haven't yet because we're spending a lot of money.
I'm talking about, are you packaging your smelling salt? Remember you were.
We do it all. Yeah. So
you're packaging all the other stuff too. Your stupid pump and all that.
Yeah. We produce all of it. So that's probably actually one of the most challenging part is to scale it. So here's the thing. So you can go through a third party and that's good, but you lose some of your customization. Definitely takes a hit on margin. But here's the problem. So if you do it the way we're doing it, you got to buy all the equipment. You got to pay the insurance. I mean, freaking insurance, $4,000. How many bottles of smelling salt I got to sell to cover $4,000? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got the equipment, the mixers we use good stuff, and we buy good ingredients. We just buy a lot of it. But it's funny. Like there was a couple of weeks ago, I came back and I was looking around. I was like, dude, do we need to order stuff? And dude, I had to order every single ingredient.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, hey, just so you know, if this happens, it's over $10,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not cheap. Like, it's like a kind of like, you know, you kind of maybe give me a warning.
Yeah,
you know
right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we were fine, but it's still like if something else came up or, you know, you got to be on top of that. And then the other thing is too, it's like, you know, right now it's like this cycle of, you know, we really only have a couple things. Like we use a special company for our flavoring, and that specific company for one of the ingredients for our flavoring, that specific company makes it to order. So they don't have a bunch of they make it and then send it to you. And sometimes they take forever. So you got to be way ahead of the projections on that. The clothing company that we like to use the most, and the other ones are great too, but just cost, quality. They've created garments for us. They've really gone the extra mile to earn our business. So I really would prefer. However, there's another local one, Tay. She's really great too. It's just they have more options, and the cut. It's just, you know, I probably right now I'm using Tay more than I am the other one. Have
you heard of Compies?
I think I've looked at all of. There's another person I haven't followed up with him for a while, but I need to follow up with Jason at Blue Chip Athletics.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Jason's good. I haven't talked to him for a while. So one of the issues with our clothing,
you got, you know, Ricky Williams with Battle Gear too. Have you talked to those guys at all?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, that
might be an option. So here's the deal though.
I'll get you some information.
Our some of our prints are not normal prints, right? And like some of the stuff that we do, you know, isn't like typical. And I want it to be that way, but it makes it more difficult. So you have to, a lot of companies,
like you're printing on seams where normally people wouldn't, and just
the
like
size
that.
of it. So like the one of the reasons Chase was originally printing them all on a screen printer was because you could get these bigger screens. I mean, we go all the way up to 5X in most of our clothing. Some of it we can't, but that's also like the company that we're working with. Before they didn't have these bigger options, and now they do because of us. It's cool to be able to. I mean, we've actually had an influence on a company that's pretty big. You know,
that's cool.
We actually got to have a meeting, a conference call with the CEO and the person that's like their customer service manager or whatever, director, and. They were really interested in our brand, and we went through like some of our wants and some of our needs, like our shorts that we have. Like those are I think other people could get them printed on now, but originally that was us. You know, we were the ones that got that to production. Or even, I don't know if this jacket was or not, but there were some other things. Like I cut the sleeves off this one.
Oh, you didn't buy it like that? No, we didn't buy it
like that. Cut the sleeves off it. Well, we mainly do hoodies, and the quality of the hoodies, man. Like, so we go through several different people. Both are really good quality, but dude, this one hoodie they have, it's just so good. It's I don't know how to explain it. It's like people we'll buy thousands of dollars and we'll just sell them all. You know, it's a great problem to have, but like trying to keep up with it and scale the business, you know, with Yep Strength and Heart, because the thing is the smelling salts, last year, or let's see.
Well, so let's do this. Let's go back. Let's go back to all right. Taking through the timeline. I love this. This was great. Yeah. I can just sit here and listen to you all day. Yeah, no, it's all good. It fits me perfect.
You know, if you want to hit, baby.
Yeah.
Oh! Yeah, it still works.
Yeah. So, all right. So did you wrestle in college?
Yeah. So my sophomore year of college, I dropped out and decided to go. So
where'd you go to college at?
Central Missouri. What's funny is like, dude, college for me was
Did you get a scholarship or anything for wrestling?
I got a scholarship. Okay. Yeah. I was almost all the way covered.
Okay.
I had the biggest scholarship at the school, and that was one of the reasons. Like, there's not as much. They didn't have as much scholarship money as like a football program or something would. So they spent a lot of money to get me on their team. I wanted to go. So Central Missouri was a D2 school, and the reason I went there was because of Coach Hull and Kevin Stanley. They recruited me. Me and the head coach he was mad at me. He's very like. He didn't like my weight cut process. I'm like, Coach, I'm winning. I don't know what. I mean, I'm a freshman and I'm beating these guys. I mean, I don't know what. And he didn't like me fighting. I'm like, I understand that, but like, dude, it's keeping me in shape all year round. Like, I'm training all year round. I wouldn't be in as good a shape. And
was Vince Bartucci?
Bartucci, yeah, that's how I met Vince.
So Kinsey McLean, you know, Kinsey,
Vince Bartucci. Well, the whole thing was. You know, me coming in as a freshman and being a good wrestler, like we all ended up being cool, but at first they didn't really like me that well. There was this guy named Catfish, and he wanted to start at 197 pounds, and I beat him out, and you know, he kind of took it hard for a while, and eventually he went down a weight class or whatever. When I went there, actually, there was this guy my freshman year named Pamen Poskalev. This guy. Man, talk about style clashes. Like, it took me a while to figure this. So I hadn't had my ass beat for a while, and when I went there, I didn't expect to get my ass beat. I mean, even wrestling, like some of the best college wrestlers as a freshman, like I would never really get my ass kicked. You know what I mean? I'd get beat and I'd be upset about it, whatever. But I never really got my ass kicked. Plamen, though. He was from Bulgaria. This guy's wrists were bigger than his fists. Talk about like athletic gifts. He hated lifting weights. One of the strongest fucking people I've ever met in my life. And when the first time we wrestled, he just kicked my ass, and I couldn't figure it out. It was the most humbling experience in my life. And it was really what it was our styles just clashed really bad. I mean, he got fourth in the worlds, and we're talking. God, who won that? I mean, we're talking big name wrestling, like not like. Right. I mean, he was in the year that whatever that weight class was. You go and look at the people he lost to; they were just some of the best wrestlers of all time. And yeah, he that guy, it was a fucking beast. But my sophomore year of college, I'd won 11 amateur fights in a row. I lost my first one, then I won 11 in a row, and I decided to drop out and go pro.
Were you training at Grindhouse the whole time? Where'd you start?
No, so most of the time I trained with. So I started out. Cox was like, Matt Cox. He was Matt. So Matt Cox. I mean, he literally he was the coach for me and Dom Bradley. That's really what he did. He was me and Dom's coach. Like he would practice with us every day. He was great. He is a great coach. He just got put. I went to last year. He got put in Missouri USA Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He actually just recovered from a stroke.
I did not know that.
Doctors told him he'd never walk. The first time he walked was to walk on a stage to get his
That's great.
award.
That's so
cool. That was one of the coolest.
Always been a great guy.
He's a great guy, man. I mean, he had his own troubles and stuff, but like he always wanted the best for people. He was so him and Haggerty were actually kind of the perfect combo because Haggerty. I mean, technically, they were just both fucking good.
So when you went to Blue Springs for high school, was that your senior year?
So skipping back, my junior year, they finally say, okay, you can going into my senior year, they said, okay, you can go to Blue Springs High School, but you can't play football. I'm like, okay, I'm done with football. Which is better. I needed to get away from football, but I mean, it was like, so I went and I wrestled there, and me coming onto the team, it was kind of weird because Dom was originally going to be at 180. Let's think about this. Dom was originally going to be at 215. I was at 215, but he really needed to be a heavyweight. So me coming on, he actually moved up. And they lost some good guys. So they lost Louis Caputo that year, and I could never beat Louis. Louis was just, he ended up going to Harvard, the biochemist, super smart guy, really great wrestler.
Smart badass.
Really, yeah, he was definitely that. I mean, he was one of the most, he could have gone further with wrestling if he wanted.
That name, yeah.
Yeah. So Louis had left, and I kind of fit right into where Louis was, because I think Louis was 189. And so we had a pretty good lineup. Jeff Bowman was 171. I can't remember who 189 was. I was 215, and Don Bradley was heavyweight. I mean, we had some freaking, who was 215? Who was 89? I think maybe it was Nick's brother. I can't remember who was 89 right now, but we had a good team, man. We ended up, I think we got second at state that year to Oak Park. Yeah. Second or third. It was just,
so Haggerty was the coach.
Haggerty was Haggerty. I mean, Haggerty runs the Missouri. Yeah. Him and so Mike Haggerty and Gary Mayab are probably two of the best.
They're the legends of Kansas City. Yeah, no doubt.
No, they're both. They're not just Kansas City.
Yeah, that's true.
They're Olympic. Yeah. They're. I mean, they still ref, and they're very well respected. I mean,
I think Haggerty probably still looks the same that he's looked 30 years ago.
Well, he has a side job. He actually coaches people and does like anti-aging stuff. Yeah,
of course he does.
And he also has some rental properties now. He's doing really well. So what's crazy is Haggerty taught business, and I love it. Was one of my favorite classes.
He was a teacher. He was a teacher, business teacher. I didn't know that.
He was a business teacher. Yeah, I remember his business, and he got me into the stock, and he got me into all kinds of stuff. Just like really got me into wanting to be an entrepreneur at that age.
That's cool. So so that answers that question. That's what I was going to ask you. So all right, so you went to college, dropped out. So GNC? So what? When you dropped out, you didn't say, screw it, I'm just going to be a fighter for the rest of my life, did you? Was that your thought?
That was my thought. Yeah, that was
make a career out of it?
That was my thought, was making a career out of it. Well, so what's backing up as a kid, so when I moved in with my dad, he gave me Arnold's Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding. I read that freaking book cover to cover. I bought my first weight set mowing lawns. I started going to GNC buying protein powder. One of the things that made me an above average athlete or wrestler or whatever was because of my consistency and my discipline on my diet and my lifting weights and all that extra stuff. Honestly, I was really focused on technique as well, but there were certain moves that I was just really good at that I'd done a million times. If I would have probably added just a few more, because if you studied film on me or if you'd wrestled me before, usually the match might be a little closer. If you're a top level wrestler, if you never seen me before, never wrestled me before, good luck. Right. I had this underhook series. It was just like unstoppable. I was really hard to take down. I'd push the pace really hard. And so, what the biggest thing I got out of Blue Springs High School wrestling program from Mike Cox and from Matt Cox and Mike Haggerty was technique. Like, John, obviously you're very strong. Obviously you train very hard, but we gotta get you some specific things to focus on. They already knew what I was good at. We just drilled these moves over and over and over and over. And I got so good at like these series of moves. And I started to add more to it, but coming up, like I had a really good double leg. I was hard to take, you know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't really, until probably my junior year, I actually, when I went to Blue Springs South, the coach Cole, I think when I originally went there, he was a good coach and technique, but I did not understand the value of technique at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to go in there, train hard, and wrestle. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I wasn't, and he helped develop that. I want to say Black probably helped develop that a lot. Now, one thing too, during this whole time period, so I came up as a Western Star. So I came up through the Blue Springs Wrestling.
I was a Western Star at one point. I was.
I've been around for a while, brother.
Yeah.
But
it was just initially the Western Stars was just a freestyle team. When it first came about, it was just a freestyle team.
You might be right.
And, because I wrestled for the Blue Springs Youth Club, and then during freestyle season, we were the Western Stars.
And then Mo West took over freestyle. That was Jason Heslop.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
So Mo West, I believe Mo West is still going on.
Is it?
They what they do a good job of is, so in this, as you know, like when wrestling season's over, you either play another sport or you hang out, whatever. Well, if you're really focused on wrestling, the best thing is to do freestyle or Greco. Freestyle specifically is definitely the better sport for folk style or collegiate wrestling.
Yeah.
And so every summer I would do that. But when that would happen, a lot of those practices were at Blue Springs High School. That I already had a relationship with Matt Cox and Mike Haggerty because of that. And that made me a lot better wrestler.
Yeah.
My junior, but my I'm not going to say I think I didn't start my freshman year. I started my sophomore year, but I was in a weird weight class because of the state championships on the team or whatever the state thing. Then I was the best wrestler my junior year. And then my senior year going over to Blue Springs High School, I mean, there was a lot more competition in that room.
More depth in that, yeah.
Well, yeah, Don Bradley, I mean, he's a world-class wrestler. Jeff Bowman is a great wrestler. I mean, he was, I don't know if he's coaching wrestling or not now. Last I saw him, actually, he came up to Rudy Bear's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu when I went back and trained for a while. When I saw him walk in that room, I was like, whoa. I was like, well, it's just weird because you get so close to these people that you train with. And then when I've kind of lived different lives.
Yeah, you just grow apart a little bit. Mm-hmm.
Well, no, like literally, like, so there's John Ott, the wrestler, the fighter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's John Ott, the corporate married guy. And then there's John Ott, the bodybuilder, guy, hardware, you know. So I'm kind of like, but you know, like one of the things you had asked to answer at the end of the podcast is what's your advice to younger people? Don't do what you want to do off money. Don't do what you want to do off even what you're the best at. Do what you love and focus. Figure that out as fast as you can, man. Figure that out as fast. Because what's funny is I'm a very consistent, disciplined person, but and you know, I really had to go through all this stuff to figure this out. Right. But if I would have figured it out a lot sooner, I would have been able to take what I'm doing now to a much higher level. Not that I'm not on a low level or whatever. I mean, I'm going to be, but I would have been a pro bodybuilder. Who knows when? You know what I'm saying? Like, but I didn't do that because I thought that I was meant to wrestle. I thought I was meant to fight. I thought I got offered this job, and you know, I mean, I didn't have any money then. I mean, and they offer you this money, then you like, okay, like how does this fit? So you start. The reason I got married was because it was part of the new vision I created for my life. Now, don't get me wrong. My ex-wife had a lot of great qualities, and she was cool she was actually a really cool human being in a lot of different ways. I mean, she was into fitness. She competed. She was a NAMBF pro or whatever pro. She couldn't win her. She failed her drug test at the British National Championship. So she was a permanent legal resident alien. And back then you couldn't win your pro card if you were not a US citizen in the United States. Oh, shit. So she had to go back to England. Long story. I don't want to, she's stupid.
Red tape.
Yeah. She got busted for tamoxifen, like, you know, anti-estrogen basically. Geez. And then she got suspended from the NPC for a year. And that was really hard. And honestly, that was probably really hard on a relationship, you know?
Right. Okay, so you went to college, dropped out, and then started fighting. And then when did you pick up on your career with GNC?
Right away. So I started working for GNC in 2007, I believe.
So that's right out of college?
Right out of college. Yeah, I graduated in 2006. I started the day I turned 18 because you couldn't work there until you had to be 18.
Mm-hmm.
So I started working there when I was 18. The manager there, Justin Torbert. So you want to talk about like a good dude. He's just
salt of the earth.
Talk about customer service, man. Like, you know, he hit all his sales quotas and he did a great job, and he definitely didn't do it by the book. And that's one of the problems that I see with corporations, right? They get so focused on these certain key performance indicators and this script of how to get there that the customer, the sales associate or whoever gets so focused on these numbers, they forget about the customer. And one of the reasons I was successful at GNC is because I was able to do it and hit these numbers in a way that was right for the customer, right? I mean, here's the deal. You know, someone walks into the store, you get paid $5 to sell this, and you get nothing on this, right? So somebody buys in the thing and get nothing on, oh, you should check out this because, you know, I get $5 more for buying it.
Right.
And I also hit this indicator. Well, really it should be like sell them what they want and then show them like other stuff that's going to be good for them that you do make money on. You know what I mean? And that was one of the issues with, there's a lot of stuff that GNC, I'm not bashing them or saying anything bad for them because they definitely helped with my development, and they invested a lot of time in me, and I learned a lot of things that I didn't want to do with my own business. But I mean, it's hard when your business gets that big, you know, and you're trying to keep this budget. And then one of their biggest downsides, so they had the gold card where it was like Super Tuesday, and then they went to the first 7 days of the month. Then they went to this member pricing program, and the member pricing program was actually a really good idea. The problem is then they launched the Pro Access. It was a paid membership program, and at this point, there were 2 prices on every child. Well, there could be 3 or 4. So you had the regular price, sale price. You had the member price, member sale price, right? Kind of confusing, right? You walk into
as a customer, you just want the cheapest one.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. Originally, when they came out with this program, the first price was competitive, right? You had a very competitive price. The second price was a really good deal, right? So it made sense to buy it. But then over time, you saw them squeeze those margins. And if you just look at the numbers, you see it. Average ticket went way up. Transactions went down. And the reason transactions went down is because I could go to Vitamin Shop and get it for a pretty good price, maybe a little cheaper, maybe a little more. I don't got to have this card. And hey, by the way, I was like number 1 in this card, just so you know, you believed in it. I believed in it. But the problem is unless you had the right training or the right level of intelligence to figure it out yourself. I mean, think about it. You get thrown in a store, you have an hour's budget, you know, you can make money, but it's like in car sales, a lot of it at that point, and this changed. They changed their structure several times, which created a lot of confusion within the company. I was always able to figure it out, right? I'm like, there has to be a way to split this pie and navigate it. But you know, as a district manager or a regional sales director or store manager, you know, change is one of the hardest things to go through. You know what I'm saying? At first, you look at it and you're like, oh, what is this? Then you call it the cycle of change, right? It's a U, right? First, you're like, okay, this thing gets introduced. Then you're trying to fight it, trying to figure it out. Then you either buy in or don't. If you buy in, then you get to the top of the U, you know? But when you have thousands of stores with thousands of employees, it takes a special person to do that job. And you throw in, some of the equal opportunity employment and stuff like that. Let's just face it. You walk in a health food store or a supplement store, you should probably walk into somebody that
looks like that.
You know what I mean? Like you should, and that's just how it works. You know, like why would I? I really think like why would I? if you're hiring somebody that doesn't work out, they're probably just going in there to collect a paycheck.
I'll tell you what, man, there was years ago, and I don't even know if this is true or not, but I had heard that like Hooters, the way they were to get around not hiring people because of the way they looked was they called it, they were casting for a role. And when you're casting for a role and you're looking for a specific type of person to fill a role by, you know, physical appearance or whatever else, it's different than just an employment opportunity. It's you're casting for a specific role. Yeah. And so they treated it as like an actress, like you're getting not a waitress, an actress. And so they were able to say, no, hey, you're too fat. You can't work here, or you don't have enough, you know, you're not in debt, whatever. Right. And so it was casting. So I agree. You know, GNC, you know, listen, we're in the spa business. The girls that work for the med spa, you know, Dominique tells them all the time, you know, glam up, don't look disheveled. I mean, we sell look. People come in here and they say, hey, I want to look like the girl that just checked me out, or you know, whatever. Yeah, it's so important.
And why does that need to be overcomplicated?
It doesn't.
Explain that to me.
It doesn't.
Why?
And why do you listen? Back to what you said earlier about the do something you have passion about. Listen, if you're an overweight person, you don't like to take care of yourself, you're not healthy, so be it. Fine, good for you. But
go work at something that supports that.
Go to a junk food store.
Yeah, I mean, go work at Taco Bell. Literally,
right. So why would you put yourself in that position to be? Because hey, the customers that walk in every day are going to be most likely fit in some kid, you know, you're just going to,
one thing I will say is there are some people I hired that were like, one of the reasons that they showed up to the job was they had just gotten into this and they were really into it. And
I'm good with that.
You hire this, but this is the thing, you interview them and you hear this story and you're like, okay, this person's like really bought into this. Then you hire them and you watch them just progress, like not just progress within, and it's not always, you don't always find this person, but when you do, it's really cool. You see them, not just them do well within the company, but their whole body change.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Physically, mentally, spiritually, financially.
And that's what you want, 100%. You know, for anybody working for you, you know, like I always want, you know, if I'm paying somebody, I want them to have a good life and be successful and love what they're doing. And I try to do everything I can. I mean, it's hard sometimes with time, but like, you know, it's like, why would you not want to work in that kind of environment?
Hey, so at what point in your life, because you said you've always been kind of a leader and best on the team and all that, what point in your life did you actually know, like,
I was a leader when I was playing football for the Bombers. That's when I realized.
And so at that point, did you step into that role, like knowing now that you're a leader at that point when you're young, do you start encouraging other kids, and do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, the problem is you depending on who you are, then I was a much rougher version, you know, I was well, if you're not going to put in work, just to get out of my way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, just like, and you know, like, if you keep having a conversation with somebody over and over and over again and they don't put in work, eventually that's just the wrong person for the team.
Correct. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just how it is. But you want to try to figure out like what makes that person tick. You know what I mean? Like there was a girl named Jenny that worked for me in Washington, and really nice girl, awesome person. But she just like had a problem with sales, you know? And I'm like, look, You've been with the company for a long time, right? People love coming in here to see you. Help them. You know what I mean? Don't forget about the numbers.
Yeah, right.
Just like, you know, if somebody comes in for a protein powder, talk to them about their goals and then just show them other stuff, because you're going to help that customer. You're going to make more money. Like it's really a win-win for everybody. Like, you know, when Antonio makes smelling salts, I pay him money per bottle. Mm-hmm. You know, it's literally like the you know, if he fucks up, but the thing is he doesn't. You know, everything's checked and he does a really good job. But he moves faster because of that, and he cares more about it. He's like, man, I can make more money doing this. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so like, I think the problem, like, it's not really a problem. It just takes a certain kind of person to work in an environment with a commission and a bonus structure. And it also, you know, we were talking about like, what's a good person, you know, a good person is able to step into that system and someone either helps them and teaches them or figures it out, you know, cause you know, selling supplements or selling cars or whatever you're selling, you know, if you're just selling it to make money, everybody's going to know. Like, it's just like, you're not going to be a fun person to be around. But to me, in my head, if I know I have this incentive, I'm going to try to have fun with it.
Yeah.
I'm going to, you know, I'm just going to like, how can I do this? Like, well, like, you know, if I'm helping customers, like, you know, you get down, you're like your way of doing it, but like, hey, can I try this another way? Like, you know, you get creative.
They say if you're so obsessed with the results that the work seems irrelevant.
Yep.
And you know, when you're enjoying
Tim
it,
Grover quote.
Is that what it was?
That's Tim Grover quote. Yeah.
So yeah, that's it's so good too, man.
Yeah.
It's true, man. If you're and same thing, if you're in love with the process too, the results will take care of themselves. If you don't, you know, you're not. Results should always, in every situation, just be the byproduct.
Yeah.
Results should never be the focus. It should be the byproduct. The process, the people, everything that goes into it, whatever achieves the results should be the focus.
Oh.
The results take care of themselves.
Yeah.
If you're doing it right. And if the results don't, then you know your process isn't right.
Something's wrong.
You just go back and rework the process, right? So, because sometimes we'll look at results and you know, KPIs and all that, and we won't hit those numbers, and come to find out, really just the results themselves weren't proper. Like poor expectations or poor planning or whatever, you know what I mean? So anyway, all right. So you went to college, you dropped out of college, you went to GNC, you worked. So talk about the pathway to GNC, where you started here in Kansas City
so Justin hired me in Blue Springs.
Okay.
And I remember the first time.
How long were you with GNC total?
From 2006 to 2021.
Wow. Holy
so
shit.
It's 15 years.
Whole career. Yeah. I mean, gosh,
different life, man.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So you started in Blue Springs. Tell me your pathway.
Started in Blue Springs. I was fighting. They had offered me a store management position, and I turned it down because I wanted to focus on fighting.
Did you ever get GNC to sponsor you for fighting at all?
They had thrown some stuff my way. Mm-hmm. A lot of the third party companies really supported me too, because you know, like. You know, they want you to sell so much GNC brand, but there's also a ton of space to sell all this other stuff, and you need to sell it anyway. So, like, you know, to me, it's never ever been about selling one item. It's always been about the customer's goal and like what can benefit them, and they're either going to have the budget for it or not. You know,
was the GNC, since you're an insider, was the GNC branded stuff good quality stuff?
Some of it was really good. Some of it was really, really good.
For some reason, I always had this, like it was the generic version, because you go in there and you got all these like, because they're supported by famous people, and you know, so the stuff that was endorsed heavily by the bodybuilders, stuff like that, seemed to be like the cooler stuff to buy. And then if you didn't know really, if you weren't into and following the bodybuilding world, then and if you just came off the street for the first time, you buy the GNC stuff. And I used to think if you see somebody with like GNC powder that they're beginners. So
here's the deal. So one of the things I got really good at is I liked this product called. Well, originally it was so the 100% whey was like GNC's like house protein, but back in the day, this was a long time ago, they had the GNC Mega Isolate and the hydrolyzed whey. Mm-hmm. Those were better, but they were more expensive, and you have to explain to a customer why they're better. You know what I mean? Because I mean, obviously, like if the quality is significantly different, you know, and you really are trying to push yourself, it's a better product for you. You know, so I was really good at those, but then they came out with this product called Weightbolic Extreme 60, and it was kind of an expensive protein, but man, it tasted good. It worked good. They paid us $5 to sell a bottle of it. Oh, that's a win. Yeah. Like, why would I not sell? So actually, one of the things that so when I took my first store management position, there was actually a shooting at the Ward Parkway Shopping Center. It's over by where the S2 is now, actually. Yeah. You know, but at that point, that shopping center is not what it is now. Right. It was kind of a hood. Oh, yeah. You know, and so everybody quit except for this one angry old lady, and I had to deal with her. And she sued me, and we got through it, whatever. Because I'm 18, 19 years old, and I'm firing this 67-year-old lady or whatever. Yeah, that's tough. At the time, not fun experience. But I got really good at selling like some of the Weightbolic Extreme 60. I mean, then they're like, "How are you doing this?" I'm like, "Well, it's the best protein." part of it is like, you got to research, you got to spend your time like actually understanding like the differences. Like a whey protein isolate, either just taken through microfiltration or ion exchange, and it gets broken down into more pure. It gets rid of the lactose, gets rid of all the crap, and then they put some digestive enzymes in it.
And it makes it mix better too, right?
Yeah, it makes it mix better. Yeah, it just makes it an all-around better product. The problem is usually flavoring it. Usually the flavors are not as good with the whey protein isolate or hydrolyzed whey. You don't really see, usually like a lot of the proteins now you see is a combination of isolate and concentrate, and there's nothing wrong with that, honestly. It's not bad, but isolate is definitely better, or hydrolyzed whey.
What have they done in the process in recent, last 15 years that have made, protein now is good. Protein shakes are good. It's not, you're not drinking a nasty, I remember, 25, 30 years ago when we're younger, it's just, you had to hold your nose while you're drinking it, Now it's good. What in the process and the technology, what have they done different to make it good?
So I'm going to talk about our company here.
Okay.
So,
all right.
When I started Yep, we had the most disgusting tasting pre-workout. Like I didn't give a shit about the flavor. Like personally, all I care about is the results, making the best product. The
impact, yeah.
So then, it took me a year to make our product taste the way it tastes. And it was one of the most, I never thought I was going to have to, it almost put me out of business in the beginning because I was just sitting here like buying all this stuff, trying to, it was a process of, because you can't add a bunch of calories to it. Mm-hmm. You don't want to put something in it that's going to cause digestive issues, but it has to taste good.
Yeah, right.
And when you put stuff like cordyceps or, there's a lot of the base ingredients. If you just drink them raw, it tastes like aspirin. You know what I mean?
Right.
So creating a flavoring, so people have tried to pay me money to buy our flavoring system. It's that good. One of the reasons people take our pre-workout and our stem-free pump is because of the flavoring of it, man. Mm-hmm. Like we've got the flavors. Our flavors are very unique. We use a flavoring system that I'm pretty sure nobody else uses. And I'm pretty sure it's used in other industries, but there's just, I worked hard enough. Eventually I figured it out.
Yeah.
So, I can't speak for, I think really what it was is eventually people probably realize that, hey, if this tastes good, more. So the sad thing about it.
Do you think these chemists also got better of creating?
Well, it is it's the ratio. So, usually the way it works is you'll have citric acid, sucralose, and then you can use other. The thing with sucralose is it is artificially made, but here's the deal. Nobody wants to use the best grade of sucralose because it's so expensive. Mm-hmm. It's very expensive. If you look at the cheap, during this process, I had like 10 different types of sucralose and I had it on a table and I'm like looking at this stuff and I'm like, yeah, this one over here that's more expensive is definitely better looking than, just the look of it, than the taste of it. And the problem with sucralose is if you take a product that has, you don't know. Really don't.
Sucralose is sugar.
It's not sugar. It's a modified sugar.
It's supposed to take the place of sugar, right?
Yeah, it's sweeter than sugar.
Yeah.
It's sweeter than sugar. Now, the problem is if you use the low quality stuff, it doesn't digest as well. And it honestly doesn't taste as good either. It does not taste as good. But the thing is, like, on a label, that's not going to say the top quality sucralose. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So people don't know until they try it.
Uh-huh.
And then the problem is if someone had a cheaper sucralose in the past and it caused them digestive issues or didn't some kind of problem, then they're just going to want to stay away from sucralose as it is. But if they actually tried something with the better quality sucralose, they probably wouldn't actually have an issue.
Interesting.
It's a lot. It's like that. So you start buying raw ingredients. This is just how the world works, man. So like you go in there and you look through these things called COAs, and it has like all the breakdowns of the analysis of it, and you'll see like a lot of these like raw ingredients will be 20 to 30% maltodextrin as a carrier. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And so that's just filler, right?
And I don't know who uses that and who doesn't, but yeah, it's a way to sell something cheaper.
It's like cut.
But the problem is, if you have cordyceps and 20 to 30% of it is maltodextrin and it's 4 grams, if it's 4 grams of cordyceps and 25% of it's maltodextrin, you're only getting 3 grams of cordyceps. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the problem with.
So then you start losing the quality.
You start losing the quality of the product.
Supplement, yeah.
And then you go through this cycle where every ingredient is like that. Of course. Like, so, as a business owner, that's like a valuable lesson really quick. So, you only have so much money. You're trying to produce this product, and, well, I got to bear down and buy the more expensive stuff because it's better. But in order to get people to learn it's better, you got to let them try it. You can do all the online marketing and stuff, and online marketing is great. Meta's great. There's a lot of whole different path. There's different ways to run your business, but I'm telling you, nothing is better and more rewarding than getting out there and letting people try it.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's a game changer.
Your videos are always fun. Yeah, it's great.
The smelling salt, people love them. I mean, we're recognized. I show up. I mean, this is literally like, if I wouldn't have dropped this, our pre-workout is amazing. Our pump is amazing. The amino we're going to do everything we make is really good. But this, so what had happened with Yep, Wake the F Up Smelling Salts is it took off on Amazon. And I was making so much money on this thing. And I had all these people like working out of my apartment. We had a friggin' sweatshop going. Yeah. I buy these guys. So it was basically all these guys from the hood. Yeah. It was funny. And they had, the only burgers they ever had was McDonald's. Yeah. So every day I'd buy in food and from a different burger restaurant. And they were just like, it was their favorite part of the job. I loved that. Like that was like, I do miss some moments, but packing those things up and shit. So the problem with the smelling, look, I don't like Amazon. I don't really want to sell my products on Amazon. We still sell our products on Amazon. It's more expensive.
Did you get all that worked out? All the FDA stuff and all that stuff you went through? Did you finally get it all done?
I spent so much money on this. Like if you actually like added it, it's just. I mean, we sold a lot of it, but I spent so much money. Like you don't think about it. You're making something. It's like your biggest success, but also like your biggest challenge. You're like, well, crap. Yeah, right. How do you get this to work? And it's not a problem anywhere but Amazon. And I went through, so originally, it takes off, it becomes number one. We're just freaking raking it in, man. I'm not getting out as much because I'm setting in there trying to like make product, ship product out and so it kind of hurt in that way. But I got so focused on Amazon that it took away my time from getting out into these bodybuilding shows and doing a lot of the stuff I love.
Which is a big part of your branding and identity and everything.
Well, it's funny because we're like making more money, but not doing less stuff, but I don't want to not do the stuff, but I can't do the stuff I want to do because I can't keep up, but then what would happen is like one day I'd wake up and we'd get flagged. They have like a software that scrolls through that flags stuff. And then when it gets flagged, someone has to review it. And then they may or may not, like they might just put it back up, or they might send you an email and you have to go through this, you have to do an appeal. And sometimes like you think you could just copy and paste the same appeal that you won and send it, but that's not how it works. It's just, you're actually talking to a human being that has no idea what a smelling salt is. It's probably set in a cubicle somewhere and they read one thing and don't actually read the entire memo on it. And so they're just like, well, no, it says, but then at the same time, there are 100 other brands of smelling salt online. So it's kind of
not doing it right. Not
doing it right. Well, that's why ours is so good. Yeah. Because we have the best product. So you're making a smelling salt. You're like, what? First of all, smelling salt's not for everybody. It's not. People either like it or don't. I mean, if you're about to hit if you're about to pick up 745 pounds, that's not a normal thing to do. You know what I mean? It's not. And if you're not a normal human being, you'd be like, well, why do you do this? Well, because I have to get into that mindset of zoning everything out. I'm going to move this weight and I'm not going to let anything stop me. Right. But
something's got to be a distractor.
But you see truck drivers use it now. Yeah. I watched a girl use it before she got on the step mill the other day. I go, you do that every time? She was like, I get off work and I'm tired. I smell this stuff. It gets me in gear and I go. And I'm like, heck yeah, perfect. That's great. You see athletes use it coming off the sidelines. What it does, I can't really say what it does technically, but what in theory it does is it activates fight or flight, so it wakes up your central nervous system and opens up your nasal cavity and gets you more air, some oxygen. It just wakes you up. Right. But for some reason we have to make this so complicated. It's well, why? Like,
so let's go to, all right. So 15 years, you go all the way through the corporate chain. What was your highest position with GNC when you
regional sales director? I was covering the Pacific Northwest. I had a good life. We're making
okay.
money.
So that's what ended up bringing you out to Washington was that promotion, right? Yeah. Okay. And then out there. So when
when did you decide, man, I'm calling it good. I'm going all in. Did you start Yep Strength while you were with GNC and dab your toe in there, and then go full? How'd that transpire?
I'll tell you the day. So in 2016, I realized that I wasn't happy. I wasn't in good shape. I realized that I'm watching people like James Krause join the UFC. I'm watching watching Lucas Duncan build the world's largest online coaching company. And they're all doing things that they had dreamed of doing, and I could have been doing those things, but instead I'm just,
Corporate America.
Corporate, comfortable American life, and I'm just like, I'm depressed, and I've never been depressed before. And so... Did
you get clinically depressed, or were you just like...
I was never diagnosed, but I was definitely depressed. I mean, I was just like this... It was I was running Washington, Alaska, Oregon, part of Reno, Nevada, Reno, Nevada, but not the rest of it. I've touched almost the whole United States with GNC. I've done different things with training, and
that's awesome.
I've done, you name it, I've done it. There's the guy when it's broke who's going to fix it. That was me. They'd send me the areas that hadn't been trained right, or the areas that are about to implode, and I'd go figure it out.
So why'd you give all that up?
Because it wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, man.
You've done it for half your life at that point.
It's weird. So October 8, 2016, I woke up. There was a lead up to it. So first I started running because I was overweight, and I did 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathon. I started getting my diet right, started going back to the gym and lifting weights. That was definitely a toll on my relationship because I wasn't spending any time with my wife because I was still fully, I wasn't one foot in, 1 foot out with GNC. Mm-hmm. I was doing GNC 100%, and I added all these other things to it. I went back, trained mixed martial arts for a while. That was a whole nother story. They're like, who is this guy? Like, well, you didn't tell us you fought before. I literally just showed up to this gym, and I said, hey, can I
train?
Yeah.
This in Seattle?
Yeah. They had no. And then afterwards, like, hey, you should have told us that. And I'm like, why? I didn't know if I was going to be good or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you come in there talking shit, and then you're rusty. And,
yeah, but apparently, all those reps actually do pay off. I wasn't in great. I was actually in better shape because of all the running I'd done and started lifting weights. I finally, I liked it, and I was good at it, and I could make money doing it, but there was always this whole side of me. I mean, like, it's funny because, like, you think if you're fighting, you're going to be watching, like, YouTube videos of fighters. No. I was watching, Rich Piana and Jay Cutler, and I was a huge RX Muscle guy, and I was listening to all these, I was following bodybuilding, and I'm like, and so I'd sit down one day, and this is when I read and listened to Relentless probably I don't know how many times. Mm-hmm. But when I got to the point where I'd get home, I put my headphones on, and I was trying to figure stuff out. I wouldn't talk to I didn't want to fight with her. I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And so I remember one day I wrote this life before fighting, life after fighting, right? I went through the pros and cons, and I realized that I actually liked my life when I was fighting more than the life that I was living then. It was because I was doing something that, it wasn't that I didn't love GNC. It was just, even if I was the divisional vice president of GNC, I still wouldn't be able to do it my way.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like my way is the only way. It was just, dude, I mean, they wouldn't listen to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't want to do these events. They didn't, but at the same time, I was the one that was fixing everything. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I went to this meeting one year, and I'd always get the awards at the meeting, and it made me, you know what I mean? It made me feel valued. And I got to this meeting, and I didn't get any awards. And I'm like, dude, I saved Alaska and Washington and Oregon and Reno, Nevada. I'm like, but the problem is, the rewards were based upon the district that you were originally in, and that district was still doing fine. It just wasn't number one in the company anymore because I was reaching out and trying to fix. I remember one day, my boss. So we went through bankruptcy, and another company bought us, Harmon Pharmaceuticals, and that was probably, that was when it got real fucked up, and I remember my boss, he calls me, his name's Mario, and he's like, John, he's like, right now you're on the plane and it's on fire. He goes, I do not care how your performance is, just land the plane. Keep the stores open, figure it out. I don't care what you got to do. You need to go to Alaska, you go to Alaska, just keep it going. And I kept it going. And I mean, it was like, during COVID, it was just, I literally moved. I shut down stores myself.
Wow.
Like literally boxed up every single thing, transferred it, loaded up, took it to the UPS. I mean, I literally, wow. And during that time, while I'm doing all this, I'm on the phone the whole day. I'm talking, I'm trying to get these people to get together. I'm trying to figure out staffing. There was a store in Soldotna, Alaska. You know where that is?
No, I didn't even know it existed.
One of the coolest drives I've ever been on, man. It's like you go on this drive and you leave. What's the main town? Not Sedona,
Anchorage.
You leave Anchorage.
So you fly into Anchorage.
Fly into Anchorage. Then there was this guy named Sean that I still have a relationship with. Me and him still talk. He was the person that ended up becoming the district manager of that area, but he should have been the district manager the whole time. Like, it was just, he was still like a little rough around edges at that point and had a lot to learn, but everybody respected him up there. If I didn't have a good relationship with him, that would have failed. Right. But I remember getting in the car with him and he's like, okay, like you need to bring like extra stuff because there's one road in and one road out. Yeah, but what's crazy is I had hired this entire staff remotely. Could you imagine that? I did interviews over the phone with this part-time sales associate that was working the whole time remotely. Crazy. And then, now think about this. I'm keeping this little store in Sedona, Alaska. Like, why? But I did, and we kept all the stores open and we closed the stores that needed to close and we got the staffing that we needed. We made the budgets. We did well. We were producing money for the company, which if they would have lost, that was, how much was that? Like, how much? I don't even remember the total amount it was over $10 million in business. It might have been over 20.
All right. Tell me the day. The October 8th, you said?
October 8th. So I was going through this whole soul searching thing, and what I came to what I decided on was I was going to start bodybuilding, and I created a new path. Basically, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a divorce. I'm going to start bodybuilding. I'm gonna do a bodybuilding show. I'm gonna start an online coaching company. I'm gonna start a supplement company. The supplements is really what I wanted to do. I was actually already into clothing back then, but I'll figure that later, basically. And so October 8th, 2016, I woke up in the morning and my wife was like bitching at me. And I was in the bathroom and I'm like, hey, I've made a choice. We've talked about this. We need to go ahead and move forward with the divorce. I'm going to start bodybuilding and I'm going to take this very seriously. And eventually I'm going to start a supplement company. And she just looked at me and she's like, what? And I'm like, dude, you don't like me and I don't like you. You know what I mean? Like, we just don't like each other. I don't know how, it's not working. We've been to 3 counselors. Like, it's just not going to work. I've already done, you get to a point and it's just like, it takes 2 people to have a relationship, and she wasn't, the weird part about it was she really wasn't happy with me either, but she was living her dream.
The thought of being married.
She was in the U.S. She had a house by the lake, had she was going on vacations. She had the life that she wanted to live since she was a little kid. She wanted to move over to the United States and she wanted a house and she wanted, a good life. And she had it.
So she had her paper life.
She had a paper life, and because of that, she didn't want to leave me, even though she did not like me.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense. Yeah. And so after that, I walked into the next room. I took my first progress pictures. I called my friend Ryan, and I said, "Hey, man, I'm going to start prepping for a show." And he goes, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to do a bodybuilding show." He's like, "Gain 30 pounds and call me." So I gained 30 pounds and I called him and he helped me with my first prep.
course you did.
Literally, it took me, how long did it take? Like, I gained that 30 pounds pretty quick, and it wasn't a beautiful 30 pounds.
The dirty bulk.
But I literally, I was going hard.
Yeah.
Let's see.
All right. So you do the show. When did Yep Strength? When was Yep Strength born?
2018, I did my first show, and that lineup, it was the Emerald. I picked the biggest show you could possibly do. Basically, that lineup was. What's crazy about that is,
did you start in bodybuilding or classic?
Bodybuilding. Classic wasn't around yet.
Okay.
Men's physique actually. It started during. I think it might have started after my first show.
Mm-hmm.
It was completely different. Matt Porter actually won the overall. If you don't know who Matt Porter is, really sad man. He was doing kind of like what I'm doing now, except he wasn't. Man, in this sport, it's a sport of longevity.
Yeah.
There are so many comorbidity factors that you can add into it. The one comorbidity factor that I'm not good at is sleep. I have gotten a lot better at it. I literally, like a lot of times, I will write out my travel schedule and I will write when I'm sleeping in it. And I will try to stick to that as hard as I can. And if I have to push through, I have to push through because that's just how it has to work. I mean, it's hard to schedule these things and get from point A to point B. You hit traffic, you hit this, you get on a call with some, it's just like, it's just nonstop.
Yeah.
And that's how you want it to be, really, because if it's not, your business isn't flourishing. For now, it's like, we got to hire another. We got to put another full-time person in there soon. We have like 3 other guys that kind of work in as protectors.
So when was Yep Strength born? Like how did it happen?
It was born. So 2018 I did my first show. It was born in 2019. I was at this gym. I left G Standard and I was at this gym called Tacoma Barbell Club, and I was talking to somebody about it, and they're like, "You're the Yep man. You need to call it Yep."
Yeah.
I'm like, Yep Strength. And that was, and literally that night I stayed up all night. I made a website for it.
That's great.
I was literally, that's like, but part of the reason of wanting to start it as an online coaching company is I knew that I felt that I had the skill set to do that. I mean, my whole life I've always been obsessed with nutrition. I actually had my first personal training client.
I think you used to say "yep" when you were hitting mitts too.
It's always been something that just came out of my mouth. I don't really know how to explain it. It's not something plain. It's just me. In
your attacks on stand up attacks, you
could fake it too. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember all that for sure. Okay, so then so that was born, and then what was your first supplement? Was the smelling salt?
No, the pre-workout.
Okay.
First serving of pre-workout was basically 2018 of my first show. 2019 I did 2 shows. I won my class, both shows. 2020 I won this huge. So 2020 was. I go back and potentially one of the hardest years of my life, but at that point I actually had, after I had moved to my new place, I started dating this girl and we had a really good relationship. I fucked that up, but it was a really good, she was very supportive and she helped me a lot. So she was very invested in me and she believed in me and she definitely it was probably one of the best relationships I ever had in my life. Mm-hmm. And so she actually helped me out a lot during this whole time because now I'm trying to put out these fires. I'm prepping for this show. I got online coaching coming in. Like I'm also starting to get into crypto, and I was also doing stocks, and I also was getting into shoes. Like all this shit was starting to come together. But at the same time, like I'm sitting here paying this $10,000 retainer fee over and over and over again. I'm paying for the condo that I had, which was as much as my house payment that I was also paying for. I'm paying for my car. I'm paying for my ex-wife. I'm paying for everything.
Right.
I'm just paying spousal support. I'm just watching my bank account just.
Yeah.
And so I had to keep filling it up, right? Like I'm like, I gotta figure this out, So I was just like, I'm just blowing through money, man. And
were you good with money? Did you save a lot of money?
I was good with money. I was so good with money that I just thought it would never go away.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I always was like, it's fun.
You always had a good savings account.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I was always pretty good with money. I mean, my ex-wife would want to buy stuff and I'm like, what? I was like, I remember we were at this, we went to Hawaii, and she wanted to go to this timeshare thing, and I'm just for free tickets for this thing. And I'm like, oh, whatever, fine. If it's what you want to do, we'll do it. She literally, by the end of that thing, the salesperson did such a good job. She was like crying.
You bought the timeshare. I
didn't buy the timeshare. I bought like a demo timeshare thing that I could get out of. It was like, it still wasn't cheap, but it was a lot better.
The being locked in.
Yeah. Oh God.
I know, those are terrible.
I got rid of it, and it wasn't that bad. But she.
Well, hold on. Let's go to the supplement. So I want to know how you came to market first with pre-workout. So how did you develop it? Did you initially get with somebody that made it, or did you start off?
I knew the formula. I knew the basics of what I wanted, right?
How? I guess from your years of GNC.
Dude, I started working on this pre-workout in like 2018, 2019. I was writing up. I was already experimenting with a lot of stuff back then, and I had never.
Did you buy some of the ingredients like in just individual serving form or whatever?
I was mixing them, and I put in a little plastic baggie, and what was I calling it? I was calling it secret powder.
What's this? Take some of this and you'll wake up.
I was calling it secret powder. And but the first serving launched right before the 2021 NPC Nationals, which is my first. That's when I quit my job. So literally, I didn't quit my job. I gave him like a 2 months notice.
Yeah.
And I went all in on it. I had so I gave away the house. I gave away half my 401k. I gave away. I gave away a lot of stuff, but I also was making quite a bit of money. And, GNC was paying me pretty well. I got relocated out here. Money's flowing in.
You're back in Kansas City now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, 2019, won the first show. 2021, a huge overall. Moved back at the beginning of 21. November of 21, I quit my job and went full in on Yep.
Okay. And
the way I did it was I bought this little mixer. It was a good mixer, but it was little. It was small. Mm-hmm. And it could make 7 tubs of pre-workout. And I started experimenting. And then one day I had put this thing on Instagram. I was like, one day this is going to be the best pre-workout. And then someone wanted to buy it. So I put it on my website.
Yeah, that's great.
And dude, it was so bad. It was.
What was the first flavor you launched?
The first flavor I launched was Smashberry, but the first 200 I sold were unflavored. It was bad. It was bad. And though part of the thing about it is like I learned a lot through that process because I started giving stuff to people to try, and it really let me hone in on like what formula people actually like, because you know everybody's a little different, and certain people tolerate certain ingredients more than others. And my whole thing is I always wanted to produce something that the high level athletes could use, the people that really were that hardcore group, but I also wanted people to be able to use, other people to be able to use the product, because as a business, like you can have a niche and it's great, but if you're really trying to build something big.
It's pretty smart by having the small scoops, and you can do 1 to 4.
Yeah, most people do too. Yeah. So when we did the tests, we did a bunch of testing, and what I figured out was most people like 1 or 2 scoops better than 3 or 4.
Yeah, I went straight to 4. You know, I was a 4 scoop.
Well, what I actually do is I do 2 scoops of pre, 1 scoop of pump, and 10 grams of creatine. I take it twice a day.
Yeah.
That's generally what I do. That's like my favorite. Now, if I'm not getting enough sleep, I will take a fuckload of creatine. It makes a big difference, man.
Really?
It really cognitively.
Cognitively, yeah.
I mean, you got to take it.
I can't. For some reason, my stomach doesn't tolerate creatine at all.
Okay, so creatine is very interesting. So, first of all, a lot of it is made. I'm going to butcher this. A lot of it's made in Mongolia, I want to say, or another country. It's a weird country. A lot of it comes from there. We buy it from a company in the U.S., but when you look at creatine, there's different meshes of it.
Yeah, and monohydrate.
Monohydrate. No. So here's the thing. I'll show you a picture afterwards, but you can have 2 products that are creatine monohydrate, and they will look completely different. Mm. And I actually hadn't. It's funny because we accidentally got sent a wrong batch of the creatine, and then I saw I looked in and so the micronization process makes a substantial difference. Mm-hmm. If you're taking the best grade of micronized monohydrate, I mean, I bet that it probably won't upset your stomach.
Okay.
But if you're taking just
Where
a
do I
regular,
get that? You guys have that?
We have it. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, it's called there's we use the stuff. It's called 200 mesh. I'll just go ahead and say it out there, whatever. But if you look at the meshes, there's like a 80 mesh versus 200 mesh.
Is that like a thread count on a sheet? If the higher
the higher the mesh, the more micronized it is. And then the other part is even though the like if you get the stuff from the place we get, I'm not gonna say that, in the U.S., it's a lot better than Mongolia, where the stuff, it just is. Like, just you look at it, and you could actually figure that out by I guess you call it molecular weight. So what I say by that is, like, you could have 2 scoops of product and they both be full and one way more than the other. And the reason is because more fits
density
in the scoop. Yeah. And usually with almost everything, it tends to be that way. The more broken down it is, the better. Now, creatine.
So would that make it fluffier and lighter then?
Yeah, it looks like powdered sugar versus like sand.
I got it. Okay.
And it also
So let me ask you, when creatine mixes better in water, is it better mesh?
Yep.
Okay. Right. So the stuff that you put in goes straight to the bottom.
Yeah, that's the low quality. And it doesn't. Now, here's the thing, though. So some people tolerate that stuff fine.
Yeah,
honestly, I do actually. I can take whatever, and it doesn't really bother me. But now I haven't taken the most low quality grade. I don't think I've ever taken more than 20 grams of like low quality creatine. So maybe if I took more, it might make a big difference. But I know from the consumer side of it that it does make a big difference. So that's why we use what we use. Now the problem is it costs more money.
Well, like everything with quality,
and then the other problem is, like, well, how do you got to get the customer to buy it for them to realize the difference. Then you got all these other creatines, right? Like, got creatine hydrochloride, and I can't stand the creatine hydrochloride because it's acidic. And they say, well, you can take 5 grams of this and it absorbs better than 10 grams of or whatever. I'm just throwing it out there. Well, it might absorb better, but it just doesn't digest as good, and you just need more. And you can't take 20 grams of hydrochloride to make you sick. Then there's like ethyl ester hydrochloride. There's all these different ways, but what's actually the best way to do it? And you used to see this, but the problem is like manufacturing. And we could. So originally, I really wanted to put the creatine in the stupid pumped, but I didn't do that for a few reasons. One, you don't want that before you go on stage. You don't need creatine before you go on stage. Right. Most likely,
you're trying to water deplete.
Yeah, and glycerol. What glycerol does is it takes the subcutaneous water out from around the cell and draws it back in, so it makes your muscle bellies fuller, makes your skin tighter. It helps with cellular hydration. It also makes creatine absorb a lot better. But a lot of the reasons companies don't use it is if you mess up the manufacturing process, or you don't use some right amount of certain things, that's not very stable. So if you ever get a tub of pre-workout and it's like a brick, it's probably because of the glycerol in it, and it just wasn't. It's not that it's even bad. It just, they haven't figured it out.
I gotcha. Yeah.
But what I do is I tell people to mix the creatine with the glycerol. It's a better way. So the problem with having it all together too is then you're using a bigger container, and then it's more expensive to ship, and then you got a bigger scoop, and some people don't want to use this big ass scoop. Like, so it just creates
That's what I didn't like about the Jim Stepani stuff. Those scoops are just too big.
Yeah.
You get into that. I don't.
His stuff was pretty good though. It wasn't bad stuff.
The quality's not
bad.
But
the problem is, like, most people don't use enough creatine. They only take 5 grams because that's what the scoop is. 5 grams of creatine is not enough. You need at least 10, and I think 20 is really the magic number
daily for
most people. Yeah, I like doing 10 and 2 divided dosages. However, if you're using it for its cognitive benefits, you'll really need to use more than 20 grams.
So I need to get some good stuff then.
Yeah, I can help you out with that.
All right, so I got to get Tony to wrestling practice here shortly.
Sorry, brother.
No, we're good, man. I could do this. We're gonna have to do a sequel for sure. So Yep Strength, what's on the horizon for that? So real quick, your products, yep.com, right? You
Yepstrength.com.
Yepstrength.com. I'll put a link in the comments and everything below.
Hardwareclothing.shop for the clothing.
Okay, I'll link that too. And what's any big plans on the horizon? Maybe like a protein powder or just
the next is going to be the unchained amino acid.
Okay.
Plus hydration. I've been wanting to put this product out.
I love the name, Unchained Amino Acid.
The
cool.
graphics. So
yeah.
So I make all the labels, and I really take a lot of time to do that. And what's special about the label, and you wouldn't even know it, is the picture of the label is originally taken in Metroflex, and it's behind the dip bar. And then I forget, I forget what's on the label, but it says something on the wall, and I had taken that picture and I had manipulated it so much, and it looks so because dude, people want stuff that looks cool.
Yeah, for
sure. They do. They really 100%. Do. I mean, that's an important.
That was another reason why I never bought the GNC stuff. It was always just the label was just boring. It was generic.
Well, here's the thing though. Some people do so me and Chase talk a lot about clothing, and we talk a lot about what other companies are doing good at and what other companies are not doing good at. And there is there's a happy place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
If it's too much, it's just the customer doesn't understand the message. You don't know what it is. It's not,
I can see that.
But if it's not enough, it looks very plain. Why am I buying this? What makes this different? So the appearance of the product is definitely a huge.
No question. 100%. I will say, back on the plain side though, First Form's done a good job with making their stuff look pharmaceutical.
Yeah.
It's the white bottles, it's clean. It looks very pharmaceutical.
Well, the First Form story, what Andy did to start that company. I mean, it's pretty freaking amazing.
Yeah.
So I think one of the reasons I'd want to buy a First Form product is because I know the background of them.
Yeah.
And I know that guy, he freaking maxed out every credit card he had. It's cool what he did. Yeah. I mean, him, Jeff and
Steve, Jeff Wassman. Yeah.
Him, Jeff, and Kyle.
Yeah.
Jeff and Kyle were the original guys.
Jeff's coming on here in, I think, a week or two.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Jeff's a great guy, man. Yeah. He's a him and Kyle are the two most perfect business partners.
Yeah.
Their personalities are very different, but they complement one another very well. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting that Andy, I don't know if it was just through the interview process or by luck, but having those two come to Kansas City was one of the smart. And I'll tell you what, actually, when I came back to Kansas City, and I was starting to cover I was doing Missouri, Kansas, Arkansas, and I think it was Missouri, Kansas, Arkansas, and part of Texas, Houston, Texas. I saw their presence, and I'm just like, dude, this is why they're getting killed. It's because of this one company. Mm-hmm. They were just taking up all the market share, and they're doing a great job on execution. I'm sitting here trying to explain this to our company, and they just are completely, they're not just overlooking it.
Well, it's the blockbuster Netflix there. You get so big and you just think that,
I'm not complaining. I can figure it out, but what they do in the community, the way I talk about my brand and bringing brands together, they're doing that, man.
Yeah, it was one of the reasons Jeff and I reached out to him to have coffee with him, and the culture that they do internally, first of all, and how they operate the business, and then what they do culturally in the community. You're 100% right. Yeah. It's a well ran deal, very intentional.
They've done a lot for my brand too. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They were one of the first stores. They were one of the first stores that invested in us, and they believed in us. And I remember that first meeting with Jeff and Kyle. It was me, Jeff, Kyle, Shane, and my mom. And we went in there and we let them try it out, and they picked it up. And that was part of my dream coming true. I always wanted to be on a shelf.
Yeah.
And it's just cool to be able to walk in there and see. I need to spend more. We do all their events. I need to spend more time in their stores when I'm in Kansas City. That's something I've been kicking my head about. I need to go see Jeff and Kyle and talk to them for a while. Actually, I talked to Brandon, who does their purchasing.
I think Jeff's taking a little bit of a higher role with us too now with the main corporation.
Yeah. I've seen some of his stuff in the warehouse. I need to talk to him. He married the woman of his dreams, has a nice place. He's doing really good. It makes me really happy to see people.
He let me work out at the S2 workout facility in St. Louis. It was pretty cool.
I trained there.
I was the only guy in there. It was awesome.
I trained there at the very end of the powerlifting meet. The powerlifting meet they had, Broken Barbell, I put that meet on with them. And I got there at 7 a.m. and I left after midnight.
Oh, man,
it was great. It was, and the cool thing about that is we sold all of our stuff there, and I paid the cash prizes out for the winners.
Yeah, that's
you know,
great.
so we gave them a bunch of money. I just kept giving them money. Like, you're giving this to, you know, just being able to do something like that. It's just great, man. Because you know, being an athlete and just knowing what it takes and being able to help support something like that makes me feel really good. I want to do a lot more. I mean, we are doing a lot more of that. I mean, we got. Let's see, we got a quick trip to Iowa we're doing. We're Nutrisport and Smoothies, a store out there. We'll be there for Black Friday. Then we're going to hit several gyms. Then I'm going to come back to Kansas City for a day. Then I'm going to go to Illinois, the Winter Classic, phenomenal show. Really excited for that. It's going to be huge. Then I'm going to hit some gyms in Illinois that we actually haven't been to, which I'm kind of excited about because we've been to Chicago's a hot areas for us, man, which I never expected. But Chicago, man, we've built like a whole community out there. It's great. Then we're going to come back to Kansas City. Then we're going to NPC Nationals down in Texas, which that's one of the most expensive sponsorships I've ever paid for. So I'm really excited for that. And actually, you never believe it. One of the coolest calls I ever got. I'd met Jim Mannion at North Americans. I met him at Masters Nationals, and me and him just kicked it off. And I get back from Atlanta. We're at the Atlanta Pro-Am. And it's early in the morning, and I'm like in the bathroom in the warehouse, like sitting on the toilet, and I get this call from Pittsburgh, and I'm like, it's either someone from GNC or I wonder where this is. And I answer, "Hey, John, it's Jim. How you doing, man?" I'm like, I had this conversation that's like 30 minutes long with freaking Jim Mannion, and you know, we plan on doing a lot of stuff with the NPC, and we plan on really scaling that up hard. And it's just right now, it's just making smart choices and
not getting too overzealous.
I mean, it's really easy because I don't like, so when we go somewhere and we're able to recoup the money and make some extra and then build these relationships within the community and go to these gyms and get connected with supplement stores, it's a win for us. Sure. But I also got to be careful sometimes too, because really like what I need to be doing is I need to launch that amino, but to launch the amino, I got to buy enough of the raw ingredients to do, and then I got to buy another mixer, and then there's a whole training process on that. So it's like, you know, I take that launching a product is a big deal now.
Yeah, right. But you want to do it right because that could be the death of it.
But the more products that we get out and the more products that get into manufacturing, the more money we make, and the more money we make, the more money we can give back.
Well, I think how you're going about it, just, you know, from the outside looking in, from a business guy, you're doing it methodically. You know, I think that a blessing and a curse at the same time. Not having like just a unlimited amount of cash. You're having to be strategic about it and more intentional and more thoughtful, which is going to create a much more durable brand, because how you go about this is so, if you just had millions of dollars to throw at it, you'll just launch some bullshit product that may or may, it's the death of the company. You see 1,000 of these companies go in and out of business all the time because they had a ton of capital behind it, and the people that were, you know, operating it didn't care, or it wasn't their money, or they just, money didn't matter. And they're not thought, and you're not, you don't have that. So it has to be right.
Every day when I wake up, I have to win.
Yeah, it has to. And so with that is what's going to create, it's a slower process, but I think the end result, the long-term part of it's more durable.
Well, one day you're going to see us as a title sponsor of Olympia.
Let's go. I love it.
And I'm going to be like,
I love it.
I'm not joking. Yeah. Like, I'm serious. Like we're not there yet.
Don't forget the little guys.
You know what? I won't. I still, you know, we go to gyms, and we can go to any gym we want to for the most, not every gym, but a lot of people really like us coming because we bring good energy, and we try to be as supportive as we can. And, you know, we try to highlight the gym.
Dude, you're just this jolly dude too. You always bring energy. You're smiling, you're laughing. You got the smelling salts. It's like life's one big party for you, and it's freaking awesome.
That's how it should be, though.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. You know? All right, so I'm gonna end on my rapid fire fun questions, stress-free questions here. So, coffee or pre-workout?
Pre-workout.
Early morning
pre-workout
grind?
Mixed with coffee.
Yeah, for sure. Early morning grind or midnight training?
I do both.
Yeah, I know. Which one do you prefer?
I like training at night, actually. And the reason I like training at night, I like to be around people. But when it comes to training, I just like to, it's either really early in the morning or really late at night. I like to be there when there's less people.
Less people, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Favorite cheat meal?
Steak and potato, sushi.
What's your walkout?
Protein house.
What's your favorite walkout song for fighting?
Well, I want to say Cancel Quitting because I wrote the song and it's kind of like a quick overview of my story. But I like Down with the Sickness by Disturbed really well.
One,
I like I probably went out to that song more than anything. But I mean, Cancel Quitting is definitely that was a cool, different experience all on its own.
Biggest gym pet peeve?
Just be good, man. Like, leave your ego at the door and go in there to learn and, be focused on your workout. But, I
taking my piece of equipment when you clearly see I'm on it.
But just in general, I know we're going rapid fire, but like, I want to talk about this because it's important. Like, look at someone like Jay Cutler. Okay. Jay Cutler has a cannabis business, a supplement company, a TRT clinic, a real estate company. He has all this stuff. But you know what's special about Jay Cutler? If I sent Jay Cutler a text message, she texts me back like 5 minutes later.
Yeah, that's great.
And also, too, we stay to the end of every expo. We don't have to. We'll stay. My goal is to be one of the last people to leave. So does he. And the reason he does that is because he cares. No, he cares. I mean, he has to make money. He has to have resources, but he really cares about the community and supporting it. He really cares. He knows that when he shows up somewhere, it's going to inspire someone to do better. And I think that's that's the ultimate goal should be one of the ultimate goals for anybody is if you're making this world a better place, you're making the community a better place, you're adding value. Like that's. Yeah.
One of the I am statements that we used to say with the kids we were walking out, one of the last things we say is, I'm going to make a difference today in someone's life.
Yeah.
We say that every day. One word to describe your fight style.
Relentless.
Yes. Squats, bench, or deadlift?
Deadlift.
I knew that one. Wrestling, ground or striking?
Ground because I'm better at it, but I do like to think I'm a good striker.
Yeah. Favorite muscle group to train?
Ooh, depends. Right now, legs.
Yeah.
Because my legs feel good and they're growing and like I don't have any kind of medical issues. So they're doing well. They're not perfect, but I got to think about it. But I'm really enjoying legs right now.
Most overrated exercise?
Most overrated exercise.
Or lift?
Deadlift.
That's overrated?
Yeah. For bodybuilding, you don't really need a deadlift. There's a lot of other exercises you could do.
What's the most underrated one people don't do enough of?
Underrated. Well, I would say barbell squat, actually. Yeah. But like my shoulder, I can't actually do a barbell squat. If I do a barbell squat,
is that why you do the safety bar a lot?
That's why I do the safety bar. That's why I'm so focused on leg press. I mean, my leg workouts are very intense and very long, but I've been able to put together a good program that is getting me the results I want.
I'll tell you what, one thing you inspire me in the gym when I watch your videos when you're lifting, and I think about this consciously when I'm lifting, I don't know where you get the last 5 reps. You
got to push it out.
Your last.
But it has to be controlled.
Your last 5 reps look like someone's very last rep. It's like when you're doing it, it's one, and then it's another one, and then it's another. I'm like, Jesus, how many more has you got? Because when you hit that last bit, you're done. But you find 3, 4, 5 more, and you don't realize that you have that. If you push your mind to do it, I'm like John does. I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna keep pushing. And I get like another one, and I'm like, I'm gonna do another one. I'll do another one. I'll do 2 or 3 where I usually think it's my last rep.
So I'm gonna say one thing about this is very, very important. So you have to push yourself, but you have to keep the form. You have to have enough time under tension. You have to think about the eccentric and the concentric, not just the curl up, but coming down slow. A lot of people try to push out reps too fast and they're not activating as many muscle fibers, getting the most out of it. And if you really you got to push yourself hard and have the weight. But if you're not keeping it's a marathon, man. If you get injured, it's just racing time.
Yeah, right.
It's a lot you got to make up for all that. And, if you're able to get your form down to where it's as spot on as it can be and really control the weight, so you never really do 1 rep anymore. But I will, right now, because of the way I'm growing in the strength, I will sometimes add in like a 5th set But I know I'm going to get it, but it's really just to feel it. You know what I'm saying? I want to feel it. So usually like that 5th set, you know, be like 3 or 4 reps.
Are you to failure every set?
First 2, normally not. Second 2 or 3, yes.
Okay. All right. Got it. Dude, been fun, man.
Yeah.
Listen, I got a million more questions. We can go on and on. I got to get my son to practice.
It's important.
I'm going to be late, but that's all right. No, it's all good,
Yeah.
man. Good stuff. Well, dude, man, thank you so much for the time. And I've been a big fan of yours, you know, been really following you, and we've connected again in recent years, and I'm super glad that we have, and I look forward to our friendship just continuing to grow, and anything that we can do to support you and your efforts, you know, I'll like, share, subscribe, anything that you have as well, and keep pushing out there, and hopefully you do the same for us as well.
Same to you, brother, man. That's what it's about. The reason I did this podcast, because I really like you, and I wanted to spend the time to come back because I know that you're helping a lot of people, and that's somebody I want to support.
Yeah, thank you, man. All right, appreciate it. All right, man, that is it.
Get huge!
That completes another show of the Stronger Leader podcast with your host, Tony Cardello, and my man, John Ott. Yep, strength. I will make sure to link all of his stuff down in the bottom, and make sure you guys can get a hold of him. But remember, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, hit the bell so you get the notifications every time we drop new stuff. And as always, be good, be blessed, and be stronger.
Are you trying to get huge or what?
I love it. This is great.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, man. That was great.
Yeah, for sure.